welcome everybody to Fat Guys on a Little Podcast. I'm your co-host, Steve Markey, and always joined by
Charles is here.
And this is January 26th. A very odd day today, Charles. Some unique things, but we're gonna
An odd day in what way? What do you?
Well, because of the news today.
Yeah. Oh,
we'll talk about that in a second.
I thought you meant like the weather. I'm like, it's been brutal.
Yeah,
like,
well, the weather
it's
is rough.
miserable over in Michigan. I don't know.
Michigan, everywhere else is nice, but well,
dude,
maybe
it is
not
dreary
Australia.
and rainy and gross.
But we have a unique taste test. There's a new product from Pepsi out, of course. One of my old loves is back, but with no sugar. We'll see how that goes. We got an Oreo crazy
Let me
man.
ask a question. So if it's tasty to you and it scratches that itch, can you drink it?
If there's no sugar, yeah. I drink Pepsi.
It's like
I drink Pepsi.
the rules are the rules.
I don't make the rules. But I got to look at the ingredients because sometimes they hide the no sugar with that alcohol thing and everything. Yeah. So you guys just got to make sure. But I drink Pepsi Zero, which I'm going to guess.
Pepsi Max, you mean?
Max or Zero, it's the same thing.
I like Coke Zero a lot.
Yeah,
I'm going to talk about that.
Yeah, Pepsi Max is their Coke Zero.
It is pure chemicals.
It is pure chemicals, but it is zero sugar. So
I do allow myself.
Like I can drink a Diet Coke or a Pepsi Zero and check my blood, and my blood sugar doesn't go up.
Oh, okay.
So they're not bullshit.
It's killing you in other ways.
Yeah, somehow the chemicals probably give me cancer, but
it's eating your
my beaties is good. So, and then we're gonna talk about some movies. We got to see some movies this week.
Yeah, we got a whole
the
bunch
theater.
of stuff going on.
And of course, I'm gonna do a Royal Rumble preview for all you excited wrestlers, and I'm gonna take a deep dive into some drawing stuff. Charles, hey,
I saw your post, and I got to tell you, from what you're going to show, it looked pretty good. What you posted looked really good. So
but I want to compare, and I'm going to tell you how
your
long
OG Prismacolors into what was the middle one that you had in between this one?
Copics.
Yeah.
Well, I still have them all, but I will tell you what's better, digital or hand drawing. It's digital by a mile. But anyways,
I think that people kind of got away from all the hand drawing at this point.
Yeah. Well, here and there. I'll explain it in a minute. But first up, let's talk about some weird news that came right before the podcast started.
A weird one. I called Heather in because I actually caught. So I saw your post of the picture of Captain America. It looks like you used the product you want to talk about a little later. And then I saw Dana White, and it was like R.I.P. And there's a picture of Kobe Bryant, and I'm like, huh? Like, what is this?
I'm playing Mortal Kombat, and Holly walks in and goes, "Kobe Bryant's dead." I'm like, get out! Shut up!
Yeah, it's really weird.
So then I Google search it, and I'm like,
It struck me a little odd, honestly. I went to ESPN, and it was right there, and I'm like, whoa.
And I guess allegedly, so if anyone don't know, Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter
along
accident.
with 4 other people.
One of them his daughter.
His daughter was there too.
He has 4 daughters.
4 daughters.
So one of them.
He's got a really young daughter that was just born like last year.
Yeah, I don't think it was that one, but
no, I know, but like it's rough, man.
Yeah, and he died, and I guess. Even in his playing days, he always had a helicopter crew because he liked.
LeBron does a lot of that because I guess the traffic is so brutal in LA that it's easier to just skip puddle jump across in a helicopter, and if you can afford it and have the means,
wow.
But it just goes to show you those flying contraptions are crazy.
Yeah, it is nuts.
Another thing that struck me as weird with this too, the main news source that broke it is TMZ. Man, TMZ gets everything.
I'm telling Harvey
Levin, yeah.
Harvey Levin's on top of stuff.
They're an amazing. I don't know who they tip off or how they do it, but man, they get the cut and they get to do everything. But yeah, it's pretty nuts, man. R.I.P. Mamba. It looks like it's pretty nuts.
I mean, I didn't dislike or like the guy. I mean, he was a good player. Condolences to the whole family. You know, it's terrible. But I'm coming over here. I listen to sports talk a lot. And the guy's talking about it. And the texts.
It also is weird that LeBron just passed him in points too, and all that.
The texts are brutal.
What are you talking about?
That's what he gets for doing that to that girl in Colorado.
Oh, jeez.
I was like,
oh, my God.
That's karma. That's
oh, my God. Dude, he's got 4 kids and shit.
They were reading the text. I was like,
that's brutal.
Even I was cringing. I was like,
dude, you can't. That's brutal.
Yeah, they were tearing them up. Now, I do have one question for you. Now, if you remember back in the 90s when Nirvana and Kurt Cobain killed himself, right after that, this is back when MTV cared about music, they would have top 100s. And Nirvana went to like 1 or 2 on
he gets a
every
bump.
list.
He gets a huge bump.
So now, every time you talk about NBA's greatest, it's always Jordan, LeBron, then whoever
but
else.
Kobe Bryant was in that conversation.
He was in the top 10
previous,
usually,
too.
yes.
Yeah.
I think he's going to shoot to 3 now.
Yeah.
Automatic. What do you think?
I think so. He's the last true high school athlete, right?
Yeah.
He's the last
Kevin
one.
Garnett too was.
But wasn't Garnett before Kobe? I don't remember.
I don't either.
I think
Something around
Kobe
the same
was the
time.
last superstar to skip the collegiate ranks and go straight.
LeBron.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. But
He didn't
yeah,
go to college either.
Yeah, it's just I guess it strikes me so weird because he's my age. We talked about it pre-show. I think that's what for me.
Nothing creeps you out more than a guy younger or your age.
Yeah, it's really weird because like I know like he graduated the same year I did and all that. It's like really like whoa, like.
I mean, maybe not him because he was a superstar, but like even someone in your class, like
it
catch wind of it,
it's cuts you weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like whoa.
Mind you, you're mortal.
It's like, oh, this shit's real. Like and then like I said, to realize the dude was still around the game, and then like I said, to have 4 kids, and you're saying the kid was one of the other ones.
That's what they said on the radio. I don't know for a fact.
I was looking. I couldn't see any of the other victims. They didn't mention anyone else.
One of his daughters was on the helicopter.
Dude, that's brutal, man. That's crazy stuff, man.
But the balls of some people. That's what he gets for the Colorado.
That is brutal stuff, man. That's a wrong time.
That's all I was thinking about was the greatest list. Because when someone dies, they do get bumped up.
No, I know what you're saying.
Even Prince, even Michael Jackson, all of them, they all get bumped up on lists. Which, I mean,
I've got a weird obsession with Prince anymore. And like not whatever, but like Prince was doing drugs and all that. This guy was just commuting. I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not here to sit here and tell you that Kobe was like a saint. That's not my argument. But like he was doing that something that any of us could. You know, the rest of them were on fentanyl and all this crazy stuff. Like when you hear like the Prince stuff and the Michael Jackson stuff. This guy was just literally commuting in L.A. I don't know.
I always liked him because he did a Call of Duty commercial. So anyone that does a gamer commercial, I get thumbs up from me.
Yeah, but you know, like you said, his past, he's definitely not a saint or whatever. But like, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff.
So that's the only downer of the podcast.
Yeah, wow. It did strike me like, whoa, for a minute. And it seems like it hit you the same way, too.
Yeah, well, I just thought it was crap. I was like, shut up, Holly. Get out of here.
Yeah, Holly coming out with these
Holly
shenanigans.
with your breaking news. Get out of here.
On a random Sunday morning.
I'm trying to level up the Terminator. Get out of here. I ain't got time for this.
Your shenanigans.
I know. But yeah, and so there you go. So now we got a taste test coming up. Now, if anyone knows me, my prior life here, I love Mountain Dew. I've always have. Is this cold?
Yeah, it's cold. Well, I know you better than that. Well, it was cold when I put it out here. But so I bought a 12er pack of this. So again, this is a brand new Mountain Dew product. It's 0 sugar Mountain Dew. And obviously, like we were just talking about a little bit ago, you know, Mountain Dew, I could make the argument that Mountain Dew caused the condition in you and a lot of people. I mean, there's if you look at, you talk about like people like Kobe Bryant and people in our generation grew up in the 80s into the 90s. Mountain Dew is huge, man.
It still is.
It is. Stuff, and it is going to kill you. I mean, there's no doubt. They say there's something like it's the worst sugar content of any pop. Yeah, and like, so I know personally.
Well, Jolt had the title.
Oh, okay.
But I think Jolt went out of business or something. Now, acidity-wise, I know a lot about pop. Did a lot of research because I was going to die from it.
It does that too.
Acid-wise, actually the worst acid-wise is those orange and grape pops.
Okay.
They will tear your teeth to shit.
Okay.
So
because
those
of citric acid
and there's
and
sugar, but there's no caffeine in those.
Okay.
But Mountain Dew, if you take caffeine and sugar and citric acid, it's the king of the mountain.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. So it wasn't easy to find this. I had to find it randomly at a Walmart, but it's by us. But so this is 0 sugar Mountain Dew.
Now, it doesn't have any of those other names.
As I drool it on myself. Now, you're looking at the back because with your type 2.
Yeah, I took a class.
You said that they'll hide that sugar
but
in
there
something.
isn't any of those names.
What do you think of the taste after you just hit it?
I will say it's better than Diet Dew.
It's better. Diet Dew is brutal.
Diet Dew has like a weird aftertaste.
Yeah.
And Diet Dew has calories in it. I don't know if you ever noticed that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, next time you look at the back of a Diet Dew bottle, it's like 10 calories. But
yeah, this has got a goose egg. And I got to tell you, it tastes pretty damn good. I'll be honest with you. I would give this a solid 9 out of 10, dude. This tastes really good. I've developed a big affinity towards Coke Zero in my old age, and like, you know, if I can avoid the sugar, I try to. But it's pure chemicals. I'm not here to sit here and act like it's healthy for me with my sodies and all this kind of stuff.
Your sodies.
But this is delicious. This gives a solid 9 for me. I give a huge thumbs up to this.
As far as Diet Pop goes, if this becomes a regular, I would drink this. Now the problem is you're never going to see this anywhere. Like you're not going to. Restaurants are probably not going to.
But I got to pause you for
Coke
a minute.
Zero don't get carried.
You get 0 sugar Baja Blast at every Taco Bell now.
Oh.
And I got to tell you this. That's Heather and I, when we go to Taco Bell, that's our drink of choice when we go. It tastes good, dude.
If they have 0 sugar Mountain Dew at Taco Bell, I'm getting 0 sugar. Because I'm not a huge fan of Diet Pepsi, as weird as that sounds. Bill loves Diet Pepsi. I love the Diet Coke. That's the two. I don't love it, but it's my weird addiction from the 90s. I can't give up soda for some goddamn reason. But I like this.
I gotta tell you, it tastes good.
If there's a bottle of Diet and a bottle of this, I'm taking this.
Would you drink this over your Diet Cokes and Pepsis and stuff like that?
I would mix it in. So maybe one day I have a Diet Coke, next day I have one
week
of these.
on, week off.
I don't think this is like, oh my God, I'm going to drop all Diet Coke for this.
This tastes good, though.
The problem is, like I said, when you go to restaurants and stuff, not many people are going to have this.
They got a lot of Coke Zero in a lot of places.
Now, if you know, it took a while.
Some time, yeah.
Yeah, so if this catches on.
Because I do not like the taste of Diet Coke. I think Diet Coke is disgusting.
It's the only Diet Coke. I like Coke Zero. I do agree with you.
Coke Zero's good.
It tastes good. But again, I don't know what it is. The chemicals in that don't agree with me. If I drink like one from the theater, I get a headache at the time.
Really?
It's so weird. That's the only pop that does that.
Those chemicals don't do that to me. I don't know.
Those chemicals don't agree with me.
Yeah,
so the chemicals in Diet Coke do.
So you're looking at this. You don't think that they're hiding it anywhere from what you can tell.
I can't tell. Usually it's called alcohol something. I forget the name, but I don't see the word alcohol in this anywhere. And they're
using aspartame to sweeten it, it appears, because aspartame's on here. So aspartame's okay. What about what I see sucralose on the bottom of that? Is that something that you could be concerned with?
Calcium.
See potassium sucralose
I don't
right
know.
there?
I don't know what sucralose is. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up and research that.
Know,
but as far as the flavor, I can't speak for how it's going to affect you as a type 2 diabetic, but I got
this would be a good test. So tomorrow when I do my blood, I'll report to you and let you know. Or I can just do it tonight. I'll do it tonight. I mean,
the problem is our next taste test is going to blow you out of the water.
Yeah. So it won't blow me out of the water that bad, actually. I can eat a cookie or two and nothing affects me. It's when I eat 4 or 5 cookies.
I got it. No, if you're talking about this relative to a diet do, oh, mama, this is 10 times better.
Hands down better than
that. This is close.
I tried Diet Dew for a while before I went to the Diet Coke, and I just couldn't do it.
Oh, my God.
It was so gross. There's something about the aftertaste on the Diet Dew that's just really rancid. Now, this next one is going to throw us right out the box on diabetes.
Yeah, so, again, on social media, I follow a lot of snacks because of our taste test podcast and our taste test on the podcast. This is the most stuffed Oreo. So this is the most stuffing you can get inside of an Oreo. So they got the list on the back.
What is it, like 2 cookies in there?
Yeah, dude. So it goes from like thins to original to doubles to megas to the most stuff.
The most. Is this like the extra most pizza?
Yeah, dude. So I didn't want to open it because I wanted to see firsthand, me and you, kind of how beefy this sandwich is.
And where did you get these at?
These were at Kroger. I gotta tell you, that's a lot of cream.
That's a big
that
cookie.
is the width. And the crazy part is, like, it looks like very dolloped in there. You know how, like, regular Oreos, it looks kind of like, yeah. Wow, that looks like a freaking whipped cream sandwich right there.
Wow.
Now, you talk about what I thought was funny in having a conversation with Heather. Per cookie, 110 calories a cookie in these things.
Wow.
So
they obviously reduced the size. How many cookies do you think are in that package?
About half. That's a delicious Oreo.
I mean, it's just heaven. You know, I imagine this is if you were going to die, you went to heaven, all they would have was Oreo.
I got to tell you, I'm a Chips Ahoy guy. I don't like, you and Heather will stab someone for an Oreo and stuff like that. Like, I'm more of a Chips Ahoy guy. I'm not a huge Oreo guy.
I can be honest with you, I'm more of a pecan sandy guy.
You're so old.
Michelle bought me a box of Raisin Bran today. I like Raisin Bran. I like old man stuff.
The other thing that's amazing here, the cream's got some squish to it. It's not super hard or nothing like that.
It's good. Get that away from me. I mean, taste-wise, everyone's had it, right? So essentially, you're taking 2 double stuffed and stacking them on top of each other.
Oh, mama, that's good.
That is a good cookie. Now, next week, when BV is here, we have Mazapan. Mazapan is a peanut buttery treat from Mexico, apparently. It's always on the show Chopped, and my wife saw it at where
Steve
she
made
was
sure you picked that up while you saw it.
I actually saw it and bought it. So we're going to try that next week, Mazapan. We didn't want to overdo the diabetes this week, but the double stuffed, the most stuffed Oreos,
That's
of course,
a huge thumbs up.
If you don't have diabetes, enjoy them. My daughter could probably enjoy them. She's not a big Oreo fan, really.
I'm not.
I think she likes the cream. She'll love the cream.
Heather was super annoyed because she saw me buying these and all this. she knows, like, it is like crack to her. If they're in the house, she's going to moonshine them. She can't stop. Like, because for me, like I said, Oreos just don't do it for me. I can't explain. That's delicious. Don't get me wrong. Like that, because the cream is so good on it and that thick cream. But, like, if you had just OG Oreos in here, I won't crunch on them all the time. I just don't. Like I said, I'm a Chips Ahoy guy. You get a soft Chips Ahoy, my hand's gonna come flying in that bag.
Chips Ahoy, really? Now you're old school with that.
Yeah, I like a soft Chips Ahoy.
If I'm gonna eat Chips Ahoy, I need a glass of milk.
You know what's delicious?
Even Oreos, I usually want a glass of milk.
Do you?
Pecan sandies don't matter. These them dry motherfuckers by
Ooh,
themselves.
you can't open your mouth.
I love them.
I gotta tell you, one of the things that I love that I had not too long ago that was OG as shit that was delicious is a fudge stripe cookie from EL Fudge, man. Oh man, those are still delicious. They got that shortbread cookie and that extra fudginess to them.
Another thing that's up there with me is the Girl Scout cookie, the Samoa.
I don't like it. The coconut one?
I don't like coconut, but it's the only place I like it.
Give me that tag along, son. I don't like Thin Mints or Samoas.
Oh, I'll punch a baby for some Samoas.
I like the tag alongs. They remind me of a Reese's. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those are good too.
Yeah.
But if I got to choose, I'm taking Samoas. Keebler's got like their knockoff version of that.
Oh,
you can get it in the store now anytime. Every time they come along.
I got news for you, tubby people. That cookie season's right around the corner.
Yeah, I know. I gotta avoid it like the plague. That's my weakness is cookies. Michelle just made a batch, and you like apples and you like caramel.
I got news. I don't like cooked apples.
No, okay, you may not like them. She made caramel apple cookies.
Yeah, that's not me.
It's like. An hour later,
see, I got. So you're saying your weakness is like cookies and stuff like that?
Has been, yeah.
Mine's potato chips or any kind of chip. God, I love chips, man. If you put a bag of Doritos in here, I just smash them.
Like if you put like a cake, a pile of cookies I like, or a cupcake, I'm eating them cookies.
Oh yeah.
I'll throw the other two aside. I don't care.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, you threw chips in that scenario. I'm gonna grab them chips, dude. I can't.
Really?
I got an affinity. That's 100. Like I can't have chips in the house. I just can't have them in the house because chips are impossible portion control. Impossible.
Oh, Pringles are ridiculous.
Dude, like there's 78 servings in that tube.
It's
like
you're gonna open the tube and open your mouth.
I love a Pringle.
Yeah, a good cheddar cheese Pringle. Oh my God,
dude,
even I can
just
eat
smash
those.
that too.
Now, when it comes to chips, I'm kind of old school. I just like a plain regular chip.
You put chip dip on there, like it's some hell of a chip dip.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
my
I
God.
get like if I'm eating a good lunch meat sandwich, I just want a plain Lay's
crunch, yeah.
or a Better Made. It doesn't matter. I don't want barbecue. I don't want anything. No, I do love the sour cream and cheddar Ruffles.
I love all of it.
Those are good. I'm not a huge I like basic normal Dorito. I don't like Cool Ranch. I don't like spicy.
Ranch.
Now my daughter and her friends, spicy or flaming anything, it's going in their mouth.
I'm not that big into the spicy.
That's
stuff,
them.
But like you get
that's
me,
that whole
like,
generation.
I'll eat
too.
French onion sun chips, garden salsa. I don't care. Give me sun chips. Give me baked Lay's.
I don't know how you and Michelle eat them sun chips. I feel like I'm eating packaging.
Dude,
I was like, what is this?
Veggie straws, dude. I just pound.
I like the
can't
apple cinnamon
stop.
straws.
You get them poppable chips too. Eat those. God, I got issues when it comes to potato chips. That whole aisle. Heather's like, I gotta like run through it.
Got those horse blinders
dude,
on.
It's rough, man. And then, like I said, there's no better thing than coming home from a day of work and snatching that bag of them chips out and just smashing them before dinner, dude.
That's a Holly move. She is a chip girl. She'll get a little bag of chips and just eat it if she wants a snack. We always buy a big variety pack of those chips.
Yeah.
And she'll eat a little bag.
Get
My
them
problem is,
Doritos.
even if I was into chips, I couldn't eat just one of those little bags. I need to eat like four.
Yeah, I eat two.
Yeah, you put them in a pile or something.
But I tell you what, for someone who's very much into the environment, the snack bag chips do help back you down a little bit. You know what I mean? Because like you give me that big sack of Doritos, I just have no idea when to stop.
Now, how often would you and Magoo just sit there and eat a bag of chips?
Dude, I eat so many chips.
You with the I thought of Magoo the other day. A lady had a minivan. 2 big stickers of Basset Hounds on. He said, "Look just like Magoo." I go, "There goes
got
Magoo."
news for you.
I should have got the camera.
We just
out.
lost him like this past week, a year ago.
Oh, the anniversary.
Yeah.
Him and Kobe. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Goo and R.I.P. Mamba.
Yeah. Maybe you can see Goo ways up there. All right, so let's go to now that we talked about our fatness and our cookies and our chips,
Wouldn't be our podcast.
again, next week BV is going to be here, and we're going to try some mazapan, Mexican treat. So we'll try that one. But this week we're going to go into movies, and I went back to the theater, and they had Power this week.
Yeah.
So I got to see Bad Boys for Life,
The #1 movie at the box office.
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I got to say, very enjoyable.
Yeah.
I was very.
I think the first two are very good movies.
Martin Lawrence kind of steals this movie.
Oh, yeah?
It's a little Lethal Weapon. So Martin Lawrence
That's okay.
wants to hang it up, wants to retire.
But Will Smith is still
Will
stuck in
Smith
the...
is the Bert. He's still, I'm 25. We're going to do this.
We got this.
We
Martin
got this.
Lawrence is like, I got a minivan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Will Smith pulls up in a Porsche. Martin Lawrence is like,
Like, I'm good, man.
Yeah. He's ready to fucking put slippers on and
Yeah.
go sit down. And, of course, Will Smith wants to go at it. He really did steal the movie. It had a lot of like how Dolomite reminded you how funny Eddie Murphy is.
Yeah.
This reminds you of why everyone liked Martin Lawrence.
Yeah. Or why, the other thing, too, like, where have you been? You're so funny. You know what I mean?
Give
That's
this
kind of
man
my
a TV show
Yeah.
immediately. He's funny. They were talking about ripping on like
Was he okay? Did he make cracks about how he got doughier and all that kind of stuff, too? Or no?
a little bit,
Or
not-
just kind of getting older? Yeah.
more old cracks. Like he thought he was faster than Will Smith. They're gonna race each other
Yeah.
like on foot. And the Chief's like, they're like, who you got? in
Joey
this?
Pants come back?
Yeah,
he
he was in it.
Oh, man.
They're like, Chief, who do you think's gonna win this? He goes, I'm calling the ambulance for a torn ACL.
I love him.
It was funny. It was good.
With the woo-saws. He still doing woo-saw and all that stuff,
What's
too?
that?
When in the earlier movies, he had the blood pressure. He's like, woo-saw. He'd like
No,
rub his ear.
this one
Oh.
he's got like ulcers, so he's guzzling Pepto-Bismol.
I like the Joey Pants character.
Yeah,
It's good.
Yeah, it's a good movie. There's a plot, going on, and I don't want to ruin it for you when you see it, but it involves an old case with Will Smith, and at one point in the movie they kind of reveal it, and you go, how did he not remember that? Yes, so that's a little bit of a.
All right,
but other than that,
you're
it's
there
fun.
for the Lethal Weapon kind of comedy.
Yeah,
action
shooting
thing,
and stuff, and like I said, Martin Lawrence definitely. He has a grandbaby, and it's the same kid that they tortured in the first one. They asked his daughter out. They got the same kid to play. He's like in the military now, and he married his daughter.
Oh, that's good.
And so it's so good.
It's good callbacks.
Yeah,
and
they
stuff,
even
yeah.
mentioned it. They're like, we tried to get him to run away. He wouldn't run away. So. It's a good time. Michelle loved it. I loved it. Theater was pretty packed.
I was gonna say it seemed packed when we went and saw the other movie.
Yeah,
we were talking about,
I have to say it's one of the better movies I've seen in a while. It was up there with Jumanji. I give it an 8.
Wow.
The only thing I would say at the end, there's a couple of scenes near the credits. And they kind of leave it up
in the credits or like a post. So hang
There's
out.
one
for
right
the
before the credits, and then there's one, just a funny one with Martin Lawrence
okay.
during the credits. But it's only one. I mean, it might have been more, but we left. But they kind of leave it up for like a sequel. And I don't know if you need that. This is a good last hurrah type deal.
Okay.
But
you're saying 3 and out's probably okay.
yeah, they might another one might be pushing it, but it was
But
enjoyable.
part of you is also saying like, hey, bring Martin Lawrence back into some stuff. He's still got comedy chops.
Oh,
is what
yeah,
you're saying. Yeah.
Like this is a little bit in the commercials. I'm not ruining it. There's this coked up accountant they go to see, and he's telling Will Smith, "It's not all about violence. I'm gonna get into his soul." And the guy just beats the shit out of Martin Lawrence. And Will Smith's like, "Did you get to his soul?" He's just like, spitting up blood.
Oh man.
It's
are they
good.
active duty at this point where they can?
Yeah, they get 25 years in the force.
Okay, so they still have been doing their thing.
But Martin Lawrence is ready to hang it up,
Okay,
and
I
he's
get you.
not. You know who's not. Will Smith isn't. Yeah. But it's good. I'm not going to ruin any of the jokes because it's funny.
Sounds good.
So I
It
highly
looked
recommend
good by the previews.
If you like the old ones, and if you like Lethal Weapons, you'll enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
I like a good buddy cop. One
no argument for me.
Buddy cop show. One it's not buddy cops, more Private Eyes. That came out recently. Nice Guys with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. You get a chance to see that one.
Yeah.
That one's on this vibe.
Okay.
It took place in the 70s though, but it's funny too. Like that one too. So I do like that whole formula. It's a fun time, and not everything needs to be Academy Award winner or anything. Way better than Gemini Man, I'll tell you that much. So yeah, highlight thumbs up. The only thing that always bugged me about those movies, and Michelle agreed with me on this one, and you've seen them. Will Smith lives life like he's making $2.2 million. He's driving Ferraris and Porsches.
Yeah.
He's got this apartment that's got like a balcony out above the ocean.
Like no one's investigating him.
He's a police detective.
Yeah.
How is he affording
no
this
one's
stuff?
looking into that.
Yeah, I was like,
where's like the internal investigation?
yeah,
on
I get
those?
it. You're single and you pour all your money into your stuff, but he's rocking like $10,000. He's living like real life Will Smith as a police detective. I always think that's funny, and they never cover that. In any of
Well,
the
like you
movies.
said, I don't think it's most of those buddy cop movies don't hold up to true scrutiny. So he probably should just go and enjoy the cigarette boats and all that kind of stuff. They're whizzing around and like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, don't think too much about that. Now, this next one we both saw last Monday. Yeah. My father-in-law saw it. Our dad saw it. So this is a lot of elder old white men are seeing this, but your wife saw it.
It's got the big push for coming up with the award shows. And all
directed
that
by
stuff.
Sam Mendes, who is Mendes or Mendes?
It's Mendes. Yeah. Sam
who
Mendes.
also directs a lot of the James Bond movies.
Did he do the Spider-Man movies? Is that Sam Mendes?
That's Sam Raimi.
Oh, Sam Raimi. I got my Sams mixed up.
Yeah, he does a lot of Bond movies, and
did Sam Mendes do American Beauty?
I don't know. I don't know his directorial. I know he's tied deeply into Bond. That's about all I know. So 1917, which is getting a lot of Oscar buzz for its World War I epic, about two guys that are sent across enemy lines to. It's
got. Let's be honest. It's got like a Saving Private Ryan vibe to the dispatching of them.
Yes, and they have to go and warn the other troops, 1,600 troops, not to advance in the war because Germans are setting a trap for them. These are two British soldiers that have to go through some treacherous ground to get to where they're going.
Yeah, he did American Beauty. He did Road to Perdition, which is another great Charles movie.
I like that movie.
Those are
That's based on a comic, by the way.
Those are two great movies.
That is a DC comic. Yeah, just so you know.
Yeah, love those movies.
Yeah, so he does a lot of good movies, and of course, like a lot of the Bonds. So I say it's thumbs up.
I think you're. Back to Sam Mendes. I think one of the things we have to discuss is the way that it was filmed. I can't get over it. And I actually looked up a bunch of like behind the scene things on how they did it. So what they tried to do is they tried to eliminate as many cuts and edits as they could out of the movie. That's why when we were watching it, like when you saw him go into like the doorway, it was a one-shot thing. So that I found out how they actually did they would have the camera on a crane. Two guys would run up, pick the camera up from the crane, still following them, and then transition onto like a truck gantry thing. It was just the way it was shot from like a weird thing that I do with this weird podcast and stuff like that. The technical side of this movie was fascinating to me. It was just the coolest. It didn't cut. It just continued to go and continue. And
you obsessed on it.
Well, the crazy part to me was
it's a good movie.
It ratcheted up the tension in a weird way because, like, when they're going into like the bunker, it just you never stopped to take a breath. It just constantly like went into this, that. Man, this movie was great. I can't say enough about it. I loved it. I thought it was one of the coolest war movies we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I agree with you. Is it to me the best war movie I've ever seen is still Saving Private Ryan. I love that movie. What they did on that D-Day scene alone sold that movie to me.
Yeah, warrants everything that it received as well.
Yeah, great movie. Does it beat that? Probably not, but it's up there. It's a good movie. And the fact that it's World War I, which a lot of movies don't cover, you got No Man's Land in it. You got
really no actors in it, too.
Yeah,
like, you had actors in Saving Private Ryan. You had a couple of nobodies.
There was 3 in this, right?
But they were very sprinkled in.
Minutes,
like,
yeah, the Rob Stark and Cumberbatch and Colin Farrell. Colin Firth.
Yeah.
So that was about it. Everybody else was no names. It was a great movie. Couple things that I laughed about after we saw it. Now, everyone who's seen the trailers kind of get the gist. They send 2 guys to send an important message.
Because 1,600 people are going to die at 6 a.m.
My thing to Charles was, they can only risk 2 guys and say 1,600 people. How about you send out a couple sets of guys?
Or stagger them a little bit. Yeah.
And the Germans had a bad case of stormtrooper-itis.
Yeah.
Where they were missing
especially when he's running through that burned down city, Acoust or whatever he's running through.
A little stormtrooper-itis there. But other than that, I do like it much better than Dunkirk. Dunkirk I thought was a good movie.
I didn't think Dunkirk was that good.
But it was just so chopped up, it drove me nuts.
And it was also really slow. Like building and building and building. I don't know.
For technicality, though, that's the one you probably should saw in theater just because of the sound.
Oh, okay.
Still to this day,
Blu-ray. It's
loudest goddamn sound movie I've ever seen in a theater.
And Steve can't. There's making of featurettes. I can't describe the way that it felt. You have to see it just to understand. This movie should clear out a ton of awards because of what they had to do.
They should easily win hands down for editing, and I'm going to bet the Irishman wins.
Yeah, I mean it's.
They had, on what you told me, what they did.
They had to strategically plan out in MIDI models how the camera would move through the scene, and because at one point the guys that grabbed the cameras had to be dressed as extras because you would see them rack the camera and then run across. So like when he's coming at the very end and running, and they're starting to actually leave, two guys grab the. It is a technical marvel, people. I know that people get on like the Marvel movies, and I find that like the artistry of those Marvel movies has got to be appreciated. And like, and most people don't care; they just want to know the story. But like I said, for me, as a geek culture thing, I'm like, this is people don't realize like what's going on, and someone literally had to plan how the flares went off in that acoustic city so they could do the lighting and stuff. They made, because I was thinking about the one shot, it kind of, the camera comes through the window and then opens up into that valley where the house was. Remember?
Yeah.
They had to make the window come apart so that the film crew could come through it. So I couldn't get enough of it, people. It was just, this movie's great. Big time 9 out of 10 for me. I mean, like you said, if Saving Private Ryan's in my top 10 and probably my best war movie, I'm with Steve on that one. That's a solid 10. This one is right there with it as a 9 for me. It is great, people. You got to go see it.
Yeah, it definitely deserves all its award buzz that it has. And come to find out at the end, the movie's based on war stories that his grandfather told him.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Neat. So it was a big tip of the hat to his grandfather.
So the story that they told is based on a story his grandfather obviously told him.
And some guy came out because there was a Sikh in the one with the head wrap when they were riding in the back of the truck. And again, technical marvel there because the camera goes up and down into the truck.
You really research this.
So there was people, though, that came out saying that they oddly put this minority guy in here, the Sikh character, the one Indian guy, to like check numbers and stuff like that. But then someone came back like, no, the Sikhs fought for the British in World War I.
The British owned India.
Yeah, like it's just like funny
someone
to
doesn't
see.
know their history.
Yeah, someone didn't know, and then they're trying to like check Hollywood. Meanwhile, Hollywood was doing it right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like sometimes
because when I first saw them, I thought, oh yeah, they that makes sense.
All of India. Yeah,
India was a
Commonwealth.
Territory yeah. That makes total sense. So there we go. 2 great ones to start off today.
Yeah,
now,
great movies.
Now we're going to go into 2 that we disagree on, actually. Avenue 5 made its series debut. This is on HBO. This is starring Hugh Laurie,
Josh Gad,
and a sea of other people you've seen in other things. Avenue 5 is brought to you by the writers of Veep, of all places.
Oh, okay.
The guy who created Veep created this. I love the concept, and then maybe the second episode's going to be better. I just didn't find it very funny.
Well, and I'll tell you, so me and you differed a little bit. I thought it was pretty good. Not amazing, but excuse me, I definitely want to see the next couple of weeks of it and stuff like that. I would say that what you just said explains the subtlety of it because Veep had a lot of that subtlety to it. And I think that, and again, you give Veep a huge pass, but like it takes time to kind of get those characters established on whose roles and all that.
Well, that's I'm going to put a pause on any kind of rating for me. I think I got to give it 2 or 3 episodes to see if they start making. After I sat to The Watchmen, I need to be patient with HBO.
Yeah,
I figured that out. And it had some things that were okay. Like I liked
it wasn't beating you over the head with
comedy. Yeah, and I liked how Hugh Laurie kind of went in and out of his British accent and kind of admitted he's kind of a nobody and not a. So there's some.
And he kept trying to like downplay the fact of how they saved Avenue 3. He's like, no, that wasn't.
There's some things there. And like I said, the concept is
old
basically,
boy from Silicon Valley who plays the customer service manager thing was
but it
pretty
feels
funny.
like he's playing the same character again.
But it was kind of funny the way he kept saying, like, I don't like the way you're coming at me.
Yeah.
It's really kind of funny.
He does play the same character in The Office. He played it in Silicon Valley. That
just
guy's
that
got
smarmy,
ass kissing kind of guy. Now I like the couple that hate each other.
Yeah,
I like them a lot.
He's screaming over the croissants and stuff like that.
So there's stuff there. I just feel like the first episode didn't land. Like when I first saw Silicon Valley, I thought it was hilarious. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm gonna watch the rest of this.
The hardest part, though, is sometimes I feel like me, you, and the rest of the world can be guilty, and I'm guilty of it with The Witcher and Game of Thrones. Sometimes a show that comes after another show isn't the fault of the show.
Yeah,
it's
you're just putting it in your head
so Silicon Valley is one of the best shows I've seen in years, and me and you immediately put it on that shelf. It's like, no, I want more Silicon Valley. You know what I mean? And it's not,
So I'm gonna wait on the. I'm gonna give it more next week after I watch the
So
second.
what do you
episode.
give the premiere?
Right now, premiere, I give it a 5. I'll be honest.
okay.
I saw it. Well, don't want to see it again. Michelle's out. She's like, I don't want to see it
wow.
again.
Okay.
That's how much she didn't like it. But
I thought it was. I'm definitely, especially with the characters involved. I'm like at a 7. Like I think I'm at a desperation point for needing new shows too. So
and then the next up, I like the crunchy old pissed off man, Larry David and Curb Your Enthusiasm. I like the whole cast. I like, even though they're all looking pretty damn old at this point.
weren't they?
Yeah, even Jeff from
Jeff Garland.
Jeff Garland from Goldberg's is looking. They kept calling him. What do they call him?
Harvey Weinstein.
They kept calling him Harvey Weinstein, which is funny because he looked like
He
him.
does, yeah. Once
like,
that crack, it really had, that one chick went off on him. Like, I can't believe you're even here.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've always heard rumor that the show just does like an outline and each scene is ad libbed. They do an outline like this is what's going to happen.
It makes sense as you described that. So, as someone who didn't watch Curb Your Enthusiasm the previous 9 seasons, because I think this is 10, right?
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah.
It's so like the way I can describe it as someone who didn't watch the show and isn't endeared to the show. They give him a situation that just plays into his curmudgeoniness.
Yes.
Every time. Like, okay.
And he kind of riffs on it.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, like, I get that it's kind of funny, but, like, people would make it seem like, dude, you don't watch Curb? You know what I mean?
I
I'm
wouldn't
like,
be that far, but I do enjoy it.
yeah.
One of my favorite episodes when he got in a fist fight with Rosie O'Donnell because they're fighting over the bill who pays for it. That was a pretty funny one. And then like throughout town, everyone kept telling him that Rosie kicked his ass. He was pissed. But that's another episode. Yeah, so it is rinse and repeat. It's just the old man gets to bitch about stuff.
Yeah.
And then people either put up with him or tell him to fuck off.
They put him in there at the treadmill. Like, it had no bearing over the rest of the show.
No.
They just threw him in a workout room. No, there's going to be a pregnant chick, jostling the baby. Like, what? It had no bearing on the rest of the show. Yeah, so it's like, what?
I don't know why.
They literally just transported her to the hey, go off on her for running with a baby. What?
As me, as a guy who always observes weird shit at the gym, I just love it because
he does
observes
go off on him.
He observes it and goes off on him. Where I observe it.
Oh my god! And the Richard Lewis, the Boku guy, looked atrocious. Oh my god!
He's been in that since season 1. He's looked the same way since season 1. It's like, wow, does he look creepy? But Curb Your Enthusiasm, if you like the show, if you like Seinfeld,
you want more of it.
You want more of it. It's funny. I can tell you, I like the show. I give it a good 8. I enjoy it. Since Veep's gone and Silicon Valley's gone, to me, next to John Oliver, it's the funniest thing.
Yeah.
Did you get that link I sent you, by the way?
No, what link did you send me?
John Oliver put a web exclusive segment on phone notifications.
I need more goddamn John Oliver.
Look it up on YouTube.
Okay.
For some reason, it's only on YouTube.
God damn it, John Oliver.
And he's still not back till February, he said.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, if you're looking for something funny, at least watch these 2 shows.
I get why people enjoy Curb Your Enthusiasm. All I'm trying to say is, hey, people, like, this isn't, like, you can see the roadmap that they do. I mean, okay, put him at a deli and have someone touch this, or you know what I mean? Like, it's
sometimes if you follow the show, they'll link, like, that girl that was pregnant is a friend of his from like season 2 or 3. Like, he goes to a lot of parties and stuff, and he meets a lot of couples.
It's a weird New York lifestyle.
Yeah, well, actually, it's in L.A. But it's a New York lifestyle in L.A.
Yeah,
so that's where they tie into each other. So it's not just a random chick he sees in the gym. Okay. He knows her and stuff like that. So that's a part of the reason why. But the MAGA hat part I thought was pretty funny. It is to keep people away from him. So Curb Your Enthusiasm. Charles may not hang on, but I like the show. So
I think it's one of those things because, like, my in-laws love it. I think if you love it and it got a hold of you, you're just going to continue to watch it.
Yeah. Actually, who got me into it was Wiggs. Wiggs liked it. I was like, oh, let me watch this. And then when he was ripping on people, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of like that. So now, next one, Paramount Network, is that Spike TV?
That's the former Spike TV. Correct.
Okay, how many different iterations of that station has there been now?
Way too many.
Yeah.
Because I want to say it started out as something else before Spike. Yeah. It's a weird Viacom network. The reason why Steve brings this up is there was a new Ron Howard produced show with Brian Grazer called 68 Whiskey. And this is set in Afghanistan at a joint coalition base in Afghanistan, modern combat. What I just described sounds way better than the actual show.
Oh, that's a bummer.
So I watched on FX years ago, there was a great show called Over There. I think that modern theater, like military theater, deserves a great show like a MASH or something like that, and none of them have really hit. And I was hoping that this was it. This is not it, people. This show is terrible. The problem is with this show is it's almost like Ron Howard. You knew Ron Howard was attached to it because it tries to be lighthearted and funny, but then get serious for a little bit, and then go back to the lighthearted and funny things.
So
and
he was
still,
trying to make a modern MASH.
it is all sorts of wrong, dude. I bailed on it. I got through 2/3 of the episode. I'm like, I can't even handle this.
Did you ever see on HBO that miniseries they had about Iraq? It had the guy from True
Generation Kill?
Yeah, that
Generation Kill is fantastic too.
Yeah, it's not as good as that.
No. Generation Kill, again, had more This is trying... It's like a weird CW TV show. It's just...
out.
Dude, it is... And also, I got to tell you, the actors they cast in it are atrocious. Oh, my
What are they,
God.
real military guys?
No, I don't... Maybe. I don't know, Steve. It is just... You know, it starts off with like him the main character banging one of the other chicks, and then he has to go and box like a weird other guy from and then of course like some real conflict stuff happens, and you know it's all antic-y kind of. Dude, this show is all sorts of wrong. Ron Howard, I love you. This is terrible. I'm sorry. Like I just cannot. Avoid with all costs. I canceled my season pass. I'm out.
Wait, you had a season pass?
Well, I set up. I need new shows. Yeah, I'm trying to.
So you're struggling.
Yeah, I'm struggling to get a new show, and this is definitely not it. 68 Whiskey is a 2 out of 10. Terrible show.
Wow.
Dude, avoid people.
All right. So next, if anyone saw the new Jumanji movie, you'll know that Awkwafina was part of it.
Yeah.
And she has a new show on Comedy Central.
Yeah, it's called Awkwafina is Nora from Queens. Again, just looking to get some new shows going. This
Charles
is on.
trying.
Yeah, I'm trying, man. I really am. I think Avenue 5 could be pretty good for me.
You're hoping.
68 Whiskey, I'm out. And Awkwafina is Nora from Queens. I like Awkwafina.
I do too.
I think that she's a really funny lady. She does good with when someone gives her good content. I think that this leans a little too hard into like the loser angle. It almost like it seems like Seth Rogen's writing this with her on some level. Like
is this like a Melissa McCarthy deal where she gets with her husband and they got free reign to do whatever they want and it just ain't that funny?
Yeah, dude, it's. I'm gonna continue to watch it just because I need. But like, so the little Asian lady from Orange Is the New Black. Remember the little Asian lady? That she's the grandma.
She was funny in Orange Is the New Black.
Yeah, it's just.
But she's not funny in this.
It's just it. She's smoking a lot of weed. Her one friend that was supposed to be a lawyer turns out is just like a cam girl who smokes weed. You know what I mean? We're just. Of course, she's an Uber driver who gets a bad review. You know what I mean? Like it's just. It's checking a lot of boxes, man, and I don't know. Like
modern day loser millennial is what it's trying to do.
And I get it. Look, she's a funny chick. Like I don't.
Comedy Central's dying for that next big Dave Chappelle show.
Well, Dave Chappelle was like a skit show.
I know, but they're just looking for that show that catches on.
They just need a new Key and Peele.
Yeah, Key and Peele, anything. They just need something to get. Because South Park's pretty much, it's there, but who really stones in?
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I was kind of so funny enough. After I watched Awkwafina, the South Park came in, and part of me's like, you know what? I'm gonna check in on South Park. Yeah. Like, when was the last time you watched
been a while,
legit?
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a check in, like because like I was in high school when South Park.
Check in on Simpsons and check in on South Park.
Yeah, just see what's going on. But like I said, this is probably a Steve 6. You know what I mean? Like this is a harsh Steve 6. And it very well could go the other direction too. I'm not here to say stop, but if you're like me and you're struggling to just get some new shows going, I really like her. I think she's funny. If you're talking about Crazy Rich Asian, she just lit up the screen with her stuff.
Yeah, she's really good in Jumanji, the new one.
Yeah,
she only has a small part, but she's funny in it. I saw the trip. My wife loves roasts that are on Comedy Central.
Okay.
So she records all of them.
I don't like those that much.
I forget which one it was.
I hate Jeff Ross's weird bald head. I don't like it. It's too much.
I hate when they pull out like people who aren't comedians to do
Pam
it.
Anderson.
I forget what it was, a current one. And every commercial break, because my wife's
They're
terrible at
pimping the
fast
show,
food.
huh?
Yeah, and I have to be honest, the trailers didn't look that funny. She was wearing like some kind of weird costume and dancing around her apartment. Her butt caught on fire. Or
Yeah,
something.
so that's the first episode.
I was
She
like-
gets convinced by the friend to do camming, and she was going to be a Chinese dragon.
And caught her ass on fire.
Yeah,
It's,
and then yeah, I'm not here to tell you it's gold, people. It's a solid 6, is what I'm trying to say. Could it find its way? Maybe a little bit. I'm gonna try to give it a little. I'm willing to give it 2 or 3 episodes, but right now I can't highly recommend it. It's one of those things.
So it's a rough one with Awkwafina. So now this week, football's like you. Football's is lacking. So what I do is I usually start catching up on movies. I'm not really too big into. So the one Michelle happened to mention is she's never seen the Matrix trilogy.
Yeah.
So and then I was reading an article.
When did
other
the
day,
OG Matrix come out?
1999. Oof. That's 21 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was reading an article the other day about Matrix 4, and that people were in there were saying that Neo died at the end, and I don't remember him dying. So I thought, well, I've obviously forgotten enough. I'm a sci-fi fan, but I've only sat through the Matrix trilogy once.
I don't think I've seen it that many times either.
Yes, it's one of those ones I saw it once. I think I was good.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's do it, Michelle. And it's on Netflix, so it won't cost you anything if you have
How
Netflix.
do they look?
A little dated, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to hold that against them. I don't know. The first one's good, decent, I should say. Not great, but decent.
When they storm that bank and they start blowing away those columns and stuff like that, super slick looking movie at that point.
Yeah. Then he's got the trench coat on.
yeah.
And he looks like he's about to go.
Carrie Ann Moss looking smoking hot, breaking out the
Yeah.
guns and stuff
I
like
looked
that.
up her IMDb, by the way.
Where'd she go from there?
Nowhere. She
Oh,
went to a
yeah.
bunch of movies you never heard of.
Wow.
She showed up in Jessica Jones, that Netflix series, for a while. So she's probably super happy that
Yeah.
Now,
Are the Wachowski brothers attached to the fourth one?
they're not called brothers anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The Wachowskis are attached to the
Yeah,
fourth one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, how dare
Stepping
you?
on a hornet's nest
Yeah,
there.
what are you doing? So the first one I thought was decent. My problem with the first one, and again, he's the chosen one, right? But they never explained why. Because Lawrence Fishburne said he's the chosen one.
Oh.
So by the end of the movie, he basically turns into Superman. He's flying around, does whatever he wants. He can see code, but he's still human. They always want to tell him he's still human because he's in love and he's just still human. And so, but then there's a point where Colonel Sanders comes out, the main computer, and says, "You're an anomaly. You're not a human." I think this is the second one. So, what is he a human? Is he not a human? I don't understand.
I
very
think you're
confused.
looking for it to be too black and white, and it never will be.
Listen, we watch Superman. We know Superman has powers because he's an alien from another planet, and our sun gives him the powers. They fucking explain that.
Yeah, well.
Batman, he's cool because he's got a lot of money, and his parents died. He became an emo kid that fucking became Batman. Every hero gets explained. Neo does not get explained.
But here's the thing. I would argue, I don't think they had any answers to give you.
I don't either.
Because like the nothing is funnier to me than like Reloaded and Revolution because they just feel like they were flying by the seat of their ass.
Oh,
like
they
just
were big time.
Yeah, and just making that shit up as they went.
And then like some programs are bad programs, and the story got so convoluted. And then all the humans live in this city called Zion that they're trying to defend, and everyone wears like tore up sweaters, and they all do a giant rave
they
dance.
eat that weird oatmeal.
Yeah, and in the second movie, there's a part where Lawrence Fishburne comes out and does a big speech to the crowd, and then everyone just dances for like 10 minutes, and Neo goes bangs that chick. I was like, what is happening right now? It was so, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love these things. This is deep dive sci-fi.
I
nerd.
think that very much we've had the conversation at this is our 81st show. We've had the conversation about how you're endeared to Star Wars because of when you saw it in your life.
Yeah.
And I would make the argument the Matrix movies are definitely that same scenario.
With
1999,
certain
I'm a 20-year-old dude. You know what I mean? Like it just it hits in its
But I would
stop.
argue even today, like if I saw Rogue One, has never seen a Star Wars before, I'd fall in love with Star Wars just because of the war in it, and I'd be like, "Oh man, this is pretty sweet."
I would say you'd be a little more lost than you assume too.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too. But I would still know kind of who Darth Vader was and stuff like that, judging my history. But at the same time, the Matrix lost on me. I give the first one a Steve 6. Never want to see it again. And the other two,
I told you, scrambling.
they're like a 2 or a 3 on both
they
of
are
them.
scrambling.
They don't know what they're doing. They're terrible. And the full spoilers on a 20-year-old movie. He doesn't die. He defeats Agent Smith and then kind of passes out. and he's on this thing.
Doesn't he become like one with
No,
the? Yeah.
see, you forgot too.
Yeah.
In the third movie, after he beats Agent Smith, he goes back in the Matrix. He makes a deal with the machines to go back in the Matrix and beat Agent Smith because he's going rogue.
Yeah.
He's like a virus. It's going to take over everything. And he beats him. He beats Agent Smith, but he beats him by letting Agent Smith assimilate him. And then he pulls himself out of the Matrix, and that kills somehow.
Somehow he can like trap him within his person. Or
so, and then when he gets back, when we go back to the real world with the machines, he just passes out, and there's a big platform that they just kind of pull away, and he's just kind of laying there. So you don't know if he's dead or not. So obviously, if they're making a fourth one, he's in it. He's not dead, but
he'll begin on the platform.
Yeah, he'll wake up on that platform. It makes me not eager to see the fourth one. I'll tell you that right. I will watch it on DVD, and like I said. This is a retro review. I should have known it was going to blow up my face.
Yeah.
I was like, there's a reason why I haven't watched it a lot.
What was Michelle's take on it?
Hated him. Started making tea. She got on her phone.
Okay.
She was reading a book at one point. I was like, she goes, I'm paying attention, but I really don't ever want to see it. She said when it was over, she goes, you owe me 6 hours of my life.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, wow. So she hated it. So Matrix, I know there's a diehard.
When are they saying the fourth one's supposed to hit?
Couple of years, I think.
Okay.
Because they're finishing up on Bill and Ted's second one, or third one, I should say. And then after that, he's going right into the Matrix, and then of course a fourth John Wick movie. So it's a.
I gotta watch that third one. It's on HBO. I gotta check that out.
It's not bad. God, those are 1,000 times better than the Matrix. Okay, so retro reviews, I should know better. Blow my ass away all the time. Now here we go. We've covered on this podcast that Steve is a giant Kevin
You
Smith
have a
fan.
huge Kevin Smith boner.
Yes, I do. I enjoy the guy.
I got an Arnold boner. You got a Kevin Smith boner.
I do. I think even though his recent movies were all, that Red State and Tusk and all, I just call that he's reaching out in his Charles phase, trying different hobbies.
Yeah.
And this was supposed to be his return to form, his Jay and Silent Bob reboot. He's bringing all his friends back for one last funny comedy, and it tanked. I watched it. It hurts me to
hold
say
on.
it.
Like he was really weird about the distribution, and that
Yeah.
pushed both me and you up on our radar. Like, what's going on here?
It never had a full theater release, and I know why, because it would have bombed. And so he did a weird tour where he was charging everybody $30 a ticket
To hang out, do a meet and greet
meet and greet,
watch.
see the movie. He said it's for the fans, and oh man,
How did you watch it?
I rented it at Family Video on Blu-ray.
okay.
That's the only way I could see it.
Okay.
So I watched it. Michelle watched it with me, and it's just not good.
Wow.
I wanted it to be. Every fiber of my being wanted it to
Is
be
it
good.
just literally just more of the same?
It's the same goddamn storyline, and you'll
Oh.
see this in my rant later. But two guys selling weed in Jersey find out there's another movie being made about them, so they're gonna go to Hollywood and wreck it.
Okay.
Same fucking concept. I was like, well, okay, Hangover did that, blah, blah. But then they started repeating the same jokes.
Wow.
Like, there's a joke in the first Jay and Bob side where they're talking to Ben Affleck. They're like, who would pay for a Jay and Silent Bob movie? And then they stop and look at the camera like as a joke. Same exact thing, but this one with Jason Lee. I mean, who'd want to see you guys twice? And they look at the camera again. I was like, so a lot of jokes got repeated. I was like, and then because when he filmed the first Jay and Silent Bob, he wasn't really a pothead. He was just a fat guy that loved food. Once he
But his recovery thing after he had his big life scare, that was a big part of his life.
later
now.
in life, he became a huge pothead.
Yeah.
Now he's got his own line of weed and all this stuff. So, yeah, in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, you probably didn't see it. Did you see it?
I saw it, yeah.
Yeah. They sold weed, but it wasn't like...
It wasn't just all about it, yeah.
This movie is just... It's everything's about... They're going to Chronic Con. Because there's a scene of their movie going to be filmed there. And then, like, they got 3 joints left. And, yeah...
It's like a bad Cheech and Chong.
It
riff.
was.
Yeah.
It really was.
Wow.
They really upped the weed stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Where weed was probably 10%, 20% of the original.
How many of the people did he bring back? Everyone?
There was a lot of people. I can't think. The only ones missing was Mark Hamill as the cock knocker, and Will Ferrell wasn't in this. He was in and Chris Rock wasn't in it. But I mean, there was a lot. Craig Robinson was in it. Joe Manganiello or whatever. Justin Long was in it.
But you can see now why they didn't give it a full release. You know it would have fallen apart.
It would have tanked. It would have.
Wow.
It just wasn't that funny. I read the reviews online. Regular reviewers that aren't kissing his ass are like, yeah, it was kind of bad.
Yeah.
But the ones that
Kevin Smith can do no wrong.
and I'm like, Listen, I like the guy. I like his movies.
Yeah, we know.
He hit a peak at Mallrats and Jane Silent Strikes Back, and then just kind of stop making movies. Do your podcasts. I'll watch some interviews with you where you do
He's got
that.
bills to pay, though.
I know, but it was bad. And a lot, and there were scenes like he weaseled Matt Damon into it. Like Matt Damon just played his character from Dogma. It had nothing to do with the movie. He's just like, yeah, I'm Loki. Remember me? And he did like a 5-minute speech on what happened to him, what he's been doing. And then it goes back to the movie.
Oh.
So it was like he just threw everything in. Who can I get? You know?
Yeah.
And
I can call in this favor. Yeah.
And then most of the movie revolves around his daughter, who
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, who plays Jay's illegitimate daughter in the movie, and then she has a black female friend that can't hear; she's deaf. And then they have 2 friends. One's an Arabic girl, and one's a Chinese girl. And the 4 of them want to go with them to Chronic Con. So, and then they get stuck in a Klan meeting out of nowhere. Like the 4 girls escape from Jay and Silent Bob, and then they get attacked because that happens. A lot of Klan meetings,
especially in California.
Yeah. Well, this was in Arizona on their way there,
okay.
and Chris Jericho played the head Klansman.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, so it was weird. The jokes didn't land, and a lot of the jokes were recycled.
Oh man!
Even the bit, I don't know if you remember when Jay first saw the hot girls, and he's doing like the fake fucking and stuff.
Yeah.
And, ooh, yeah. They do that bit again, and so I'm like, God, they recycled everything, and they all look like all wore out old crackheads too.
Yeah, 'cause they're all getting old, and they wanted to get skinnier because they're all dying.
Oh, so
let me ask the question though. So
total letdown.
It sounds like it's a complete swing and a mess. What would you want to see from a Jay and Silent Bob movie? Can you give like something like just a further adventure in some other area?
Take the characters, the 2 they got, and let's do something new. Why are we going back to California?
Yeah.
And let's forget, okay, I know I get the same way. Holly could do no wrong. It's my daughter. It's my girl, you know. Yeah. Let's leave your daughter at home.
Oh.
And you just lost everything. Are we still?
You're good.
Oh, okay. And let's leave the daughter at home. And I don't need to see her in the next movie. All right.
Okay.
And he had a now you want to say 1917 had a checklist? I mean, the 4 girls. One was black, one was white, one was Arabic, one was Chinese. Oh. He had a checklist. Yeah. And then they beat up a Klansman. So I was like, okay. I don't know. He needs to maybe just retire Jay and Silent Bob, get some other actors, and do some new characters. Is what I think.
Huh.
And let's ease up on the weed. I mean, it was.
We get it. It's
we get it. You love weed, and weed's great, and it's going to be legal everywhere. But I don't need to see 2 hours of it, you know. And it's like to defeat the Klansmen, they light a giant joint and stick it in the fire because the joint start making all the Klansmen kind of, you know, loopy, I guess, because it was like a super joint. Yeah. That's an example of some of the humor. Now, there's one scene with Fred Armisen. He's in it. He's like their Uber driver type. He's funny. That whole stuff with him, like he made hater tots because he thought teenage girls would like him, and then comes to find out only white supremacists liked him. So he had a whole funny bit, and he was funny. But man, I don't know. It's rough. It's almost like if you're into boxing, right? Like I like Evander Holyfield, but then you see that fight that he went one too many, and it's like.
Started hanging up to big guys.
Yeah, and this is what happened. I think.
So, what do you give it out of 10?
4.
Oh,
that hurts me.
Doesn't even give a Steve 6.
Nah, I saw it once. I don't want to see it again. I don't ever want to see it again. I'll be honest with you. And it's a bummer. I like all of them. I think they're all funny guys, and there's a couple laughs in it here and there. But boy, it's one of those things where you're a huge fan of it. And it really tests your limits as a fan. It's like, oh, if I'd have paid $30 and went with Michelle downtown to see it, like you suggested,
pissed, yeah.
So it's $60 for the 2. I'd be like, I'd have came here and be like, I just paid $60 to see a turd. So I'm so glad I waited for the Blu-ray on that one. Something told me about it too. I was just like, But what could have been and what happened are 2 different things. So I guess you can't relive your past all the time.
A lot of people need to be told that.
Yeah. So, and now let's go. Charles and I both love stand-ups. And again, I wanted to tell you before this, Amazon is starting to pop out more stand-ups now. I think they're catching on to
I think Netflix is onto something, is what I would argue. And
I wonder what the average, like a Leslie Jones or even one lower than them, what they get paid for their specials.
I don't know. I'm sure someone on a podcast somewhere has talked about it because a lot of those folks that are getting those Netflix specials have their own podcasts and stuff like that. But I got to tell you, so these are 2 really funny chicks, and that's not.
And the first one's Leslie Jones' Time Machine.
Yeah,
That's
and I'll just talk about both of them at the same time. So, and then the other one was Fortune Feimster.
I don't know who that is.
If you saw her, you'll go, oh, okay, that chick. Trust me, you would.
Okay.
And it's called Sweet and Salty. I thought these were really fantastic stand-ups. I struggle, and again, I talked to Steve pre-show about this stuff. I struggle with a lot of female stand-up comics. I don't need to hear about how men are Neanderthals all day. I think that there's female comedy that can have a female angle on female issues that don't necessarily have to just shit on men all the time. And these are two examples of some really funny female comedies or comedians that are really doing funny work that are just talking about their life stories and life experiences.
Okay.
And it's just really good. Like, so the Leslie Jones stuff, who, again, I didn't know how good of a stand-up she is. She really impressed me with how good she is. She calls it, again, it's, what is it called? Time Machine, because she kind of goes through what it's like to be a 20-year-old woman and how your body feels into a 30-year-old woman, 40s, and now she's into her 50s. And then she picks on like
She's in her 50s?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
And then she picks on like a girl in the front row who's in her 20s, and she's like, you won't know. You won't know. It's a really funny stand-up. I mean, it gets a little preachy, but, you know, that's okay. I mean, every one of them do a little bit here and there. And then Fortune Feimster, she grew up in the South. She's a heavier set woman who happens to come out as gay and stuff like that. And just, she doesn't go on.
Curly hair?
Yeah.
I know who she is.
Yeah, see?
She was in
Yeah.
Paranoid or something.
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
in some show.
She's funny, yeah.
The things I've seen her in.
And what she's good about is she doesn't go on and on about what it's like to do, you know what I mean? She just talks about her experiences and stuff like that. And these are really two gem of comedies. I thought they were really good and just, yeah, they're just, I mean, they're not like Dave Chappelle level of like cerebralness and all this kind of stuff and like really twisting on how the world thinks on stuff, but they're just kind of talking about how they grew up and then like how it feels to be 40-year-old women and stuff like that. It's good, man. I like both of them. I highly recommend both of them.
Oh, so I'll have to watch those. Yeah, I saw the one joke Leslie Jones goes, when you're 27, you wish, please don't have venereal disease. Yeah. When you're 42, you just
Don't
wish,
get it.
why am I so tired?
Yeah, it's really funny too.
That looks funny.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not. There's a couple things with stand-up that I don't like, and one of the things is female comedians that just go off on men, and then the other thing I don't like is like going off on the fact that we live in woke culture now.
Yeah,
and both of these female comedians miss all that, and it's just really kind of funny. And I think that you can make a lot of funny stand-up comedy that doesn't necessarily have to just complain too much about this and just kind of talk about those personal experiences. I think are always really good.
So for our reviews, Bad Boys and 1917 are both great movies. You gotta go see those. Avenue 5, the judge is still out on that.
Yeah.
It's the Curb Your Enthusiasm. If you're into Larry David, you're gonna like it. If you're not, stay away. 68 Whiskey. Charles says it's not a modern match.
Boy.
It's Awkwafina and Nora from the Queens. It's still jury out on that one. Hoping for a better. The Matrix, if you've seen it, you've probably seen it already, but boy, was that a turd. Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, my biggest letdown of 2020 so far. And then Charles has two great stand-ups of Leslie Jones and Fortune Feimster, both on Netflix. You can catch those right now. Now, let's talk a little football. Won't be a lot of talk because nobody cares. First, before we do that, next week will be on Saturday. Bill Vicious will be with us in studio.
Yes.
We're going to preview the Super Bowl, what we think. I do have some squares. We'll go over my numbers.
Okay.
You can tell me the percentage you think I'll win on these.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 0.0. But
you
we'll
got a lot of
know.
6 and 1s.
Oh, I got a couple 2s, too, so I'm screwed. Michelle's got 2 5s. It's like, oh. So we got some squares. We're going to cover that. But first, now, this is ironic that you put this on here. Bert texted me. He goes, what the fuck? Don't they just play two-hand touch in the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, dude. He was watching the Pro Bowl.
You know he's betting on it somehow.
Geez.
You know he somehow bet on the Pro Bowl.
To me, I just avoid it.
I told him, I go, why are you watching
dude,
that?
football without intensity is not football. I'm sorry.
It's Mortal Kombat Sunday. Did you not get to know?
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. Watch some stand-up. Watch a little bit of this. Catch up on Avenue 5. Watch. Don't waste your time on this, people.
But from what I understand, I didn't watch it either, but the skills competition, which was Thursday or something, I don't even know what station this is on. But
it's all ESPN.
They do a cool dodgeball tournament, I guess. And they said Landry Jones, I think he's a receiver. He might be for Cleveland. He was like him against like 3 or something. He just went nuts. He was like catching stuff, jumping. They said it's a really cool. But I'm still not.
You want to watch dodgeball?
No, I'm not
That's what I'm
watching football
saying,
players
like,
play
I mean,
dodgeball.
I
don't
don't
know,
know, man.
I mean, maybe
just-
they played with bowling balls.
I guess. I don't even think I'd watch that. I am just not into this, people.
The only All-Star game I watched a little bit of, for me personally, I watch a little bit of the basketball one.
That's because they're doing crazy dunks and shit.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
got news for you. You can watch it on ESPN the next day in 30 seconds.
But usually it airs on a weekend when there's nothing on.
Oh, okay.
Now here's
You
another
throw
thing
it
too.
on, yeah.
This is why the NFL or the NHL is screwing up. Why isn't your Winter Classic on this weekend? The weekend before the Super Bowl and the weekend before anything. No, they put it on Winter Classic's on New Year's Day against all the bowl games. They would own this weekend. Just put the Winter Classic
Always on the Sunday before the Super Bowl?
Yeah, or the Saturday or Sunday. Would you watch it? I'd watch it if it was on.
I don't think I'm watching it either way, I'll be honest with you.
Well, I'm not watching on New Year's Day because there's bowl games on.
Well,
The Saturday, if I had nothing to do, I'd watch it.
I don't know, man.
Probably be in
I'm
the
not-
background as I do other things.
I am going to go dormant on a lot of sports right now. Is
Yeah.
what basically I've got next weekend, and then I've got some MMA stuff that'll.
What about XFL? It's coming the weekend. You're not going to tune in
I'll
the
have
first
to watch.
weekend?
I'll have to watch
we're gonna have to talk about
XFL.
it, you know
Yeah,
that.
just have that conversation.
Gabe already
but-
said, "Hey, they got fancy XFL. We should do it."
Fantasy
I was like,
XFL.
"Are you serious?"
Good luck drafting those people. You don't know who anyone is.
Yeah. So there you go. No football really this week, but next Saturday we're gonna have a big preview. Bill's gonna be in studio. I mean, there's not much we can really preview that you're not gonna hear already. Who we're pulling for, what we hope happens. Now today is a big day for wrestling. Now they got the note. Unlike the NHL,
Yeah.
they knew it. They're squeezing.
They see
in,
that window.
They're squeezing in. The Royal Rumble is on tonight. I do enjoy. I've told everyone before on the podcast, if you're going to get the WWE Network, it's right now this weekend till WrestleMania,
Which is in April, right?
which is in April, and then cancel. So 4 months, you're going to get 4 pay-per-views. You can catch up on all the shows they have, and then just cancel. That's what I do.
Yeah.
So
that as soon as the weather starts to turn.
yeah,
cancel
yeah,
your-
yeah. So Royal Rumble's tonight. It's a big one. It's 30 women, 30 men, 2 different.
So they
ones.
have 2 Royal Rumbles.
They have 2 Royal Rumbles now. It's a 3-hour show. They have some title matches. The Fiend, Charles's favorite. He's wrestling Daniel Bryan. You know what's even more annoying about that character when it comes out to wrestle? They turn all the lights red. So it's annoying to watch on top of all
they
of it.
keep them red?
They keep them red.
Oh, it's
the whole
not an
match.
entrance thing?
No. Ugh, it's so annoying. So
the whole time you're having a seizure watching.
him and Daniel Bryan, the Fiend's probably gonna win. They got a match between Roman Reigns and the King Corbin guy. Nobody cares. It's some stupid stipulation. Nobody cares. There's a women's title match. That's Ahsoka versus Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch has been the title champ for a while. I think Becky Lynch is going to win this, and I'm going to tell you why. This leads into my third point. I think tonight is the night that Ronda Rousey comes back.
Do you think so?
It's been quiet. There's been nothing on it. She's already filmed all her 911 show and whatever the bullshit she's doing. She's not pregnant. She didn't have the baby or have any kids. So if she's coming back at all, I think tonight's the night. So my prediction.
What are your percentages? Give me a percent.
It's about a 30%.
Only 30? I thought you seemed like you're higher than that. Huh?
Well, okay, let's go it up. We have 45.
Oh,
45%. That's my prediction. Because the other prediction, everyone thinks CM Punk's going to show up in the Royal Rumble.
He's
I don't-
definitely not showing up in MMA.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I don't see CM Punk, but Ronda Rousey, because the WWE done this move where they've been really quiet about her lately.
Okay.
And usually when they do that, they're trying to sneak something in.
Yeah, okay.
So
I get your theory, yeah.
And they always struggle to fill the 30 women because they just don't have enough women.
Yeah.
They bring back like Trish Stratus and everyone. Like, you used to wrestle for us 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Get in here.
Hey.
So I think that's my guess, but we'll see. See if my prediction comes true next week because me and Bill will do a review of the Royal Rumble
Okay.
next Saturday.
All right.
So you can be like, oh, great.
Yeah. I'll
We'll
talk with Tony about some arcade machines or pinball machines.
Like I've always told you, the reason I like Royal Rumble, they always bring in 2 or 3 surprises, and I'm hoping to see this. Last year there was none. I sat here on this show telling you they always surprise. Last year there was none, so I'm hoping they do at least 1 or 2 this week. Now the other big rumor in wrestling that's been going on for about 2 weeks was Edge. He retired because of some kind
Some
of vertebrae
issues,
thing,
yeah. They got
And
that Steve Austin vertebrae issue.
Yeah, and he's allegedly been seen in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is where WWE doctors are. They give okays, and so everyone put 2 and 2 together, said he's coming back. Well, he came out in an interview.
So you're saying you see him in Pennsylvania, he's looking for clearance. is what you're saying.
Yeah. But he came out in an interview saying, no, I was in Pennsylvania for something else. Forget what it was. and he's not coming back in an interview.
That's a deep dive thing, though. You know, I saw in Pennsylvania the typical clinic. That
yeah. So he confirmed that he's not. But this is wrestling. Could be trying to throw you off. Maybe he shows up in the Royal Rumble. Who knows? I have a feeling next week me and Bill will both be like, yeah, nothing happening. But there you go. There's your 3 minutes of wrestling. I think it's a Ronda Rousey reappearance tonight, just because they've been so quiet on her. But we'll find out. Now, you go deep dive on some stuff.
So hold on, you're going into your hard-earned reviews. So this is what you want to talk about, some stuff that you picked up.
Now, as everyone probably knows that they follow the podcast, I like to draw. I always have liked to draw. I'm Simon drawing in the bathtub. Now these are
and I like to do drawing.
Alcohol markers. Now, if you're not going to do digital,
well, hold on. I need you to pause for a minute.
Yes.
So, where do we pick these up? What do they cost? Why do I need to know what? How are they different than the markers you've discussed on the show?
Okay, which ones have I discussed? Prismacolor?
No, Copics or whatever the
Copic.
yeah.
Copics, yes. These are Copics. I brought these two so you can get a reference. The Copics are the industry standard. If you're not doing digital, and you go to
So this is colorizing paper, is what you're telling me.
So if
or
you go to
Canvas or whatever,
like when you go to Comic Cons, right, and you go to Comic Row,
Yeah.
and comics are coloring and making pictures,
Yeah.
In person they use these markers to color 99% of the time.
Okay.
These markers are $7 a piece.
each, and how long will that marker last if you take care of it?
You
don't run the
years,
risk of
these are refillable too.
Jeez.
You can actually buy the ink to fill the marker back.
That's
up.
pretty sweet.
So,
Admittedly,
yeah.
that's pretty sweet. How hard is that scenario to do?
What do you mean?
To refill a
They give you a whole
marker?
little kit. It's like a thing. You pull the nib out. The nibs
Whoa.
come out, and you put a little funnel in there, and it goes right in there.
Whoa.
I've never gotten that far with it.
How big of a kit do you have of those at this point?
Of these Copics?
Yeah.
Not many. I got like 24 of them.
Oh, that's $7 a piece. You come out some.
Well, here's the trick.
Buying a kit?
Aspiring artists. Here's a trick. Hobby Lobby. I know Charles hates that place.
Yeah.
Michael's is the other
Just
place.
don't go there for an abortion.
Yeah. Well, no abortions, but they always put out weekly coupons of 40 to 50% off. So
Do they apply to those
yes,
markers?
They do.
Okay.
So like a 6-pack will be 30-something, 35 or no $40. So
How many sticks would you get for $35, $40?
6? It's like
Jesus,
it's just like this,
man. So it's like a kit, a little
Yeah,
kit.
you'll get Copic come just like this too. So
Okay.
you'll have skin colors, blues, reds, greens, and they'll have all the shade. This is a skin color group.
Yeah, I can see.
And so for this in
different.
Copic it's probably like $50.
Jesus.
So you take the coupon, you're getting it for 25.
It's funny to me that we have such a specific marker that's so expensive in a digital age.
Yeah.
I figured it'd be the exact opposite. Like, it's impossible to sell a $7 marker or marker when Photoshop and Wacom tablets exist. It's crazy to me.
It is. And I follow a lot of artists. See, the reason why is, as far as artists, now these also caught on with scrapbookers. The ink and stuff in these don't fade often.
Okay.
So scrapbookers.
So it's a robust ink that's inside of it.
Yeah, so
when they're filling
scrapbookers-
in their little Joey in the tub. Yeah,
scrapbookers love these markers as
get
well.
you, I get you,
So
I
it's
get
caught on to two industries,
Gotcha.
not just
Okay.
one.
So you got multiple
And-
people looking for
Oh,
these.
the third industry is in Japan. The manga, whatever. They're the ones that originally started using these.
Okay.
So it's caught on 3 different areas, and that's why they're so elite, I guess you could say.
They sound like they're neat, admittedly.
Yeah, it's expensive though. It's
Very
expensive hobby.
professional sounding if you
Yeah.
can refill and everything.
And like I
You
said,
can't get those cheaper on the internet or nothing, man?
no, try it.
Damn.
Yeah, you gotta. The
$7
cheapest way
a
to
stick, dude. It's
the
crazy.
cheapest way to get them is Hobby Lobby and Michaels using those coupons, and they only have a limited selection. So Dick Blick,
You want those really deep dive colorations and all
I mean,
that
Dick
kind of
Blick. Now and that's what these come in. These are Master Touch Fine Art Studio alcohol marker set.
So how does a master set alcohol marker differ from a Copics marker?
These are Hobby Lobby's brand. Hobby Lobby saw these and said, "We need to make some at a reduced price." So
That's $7 a stick. How much is that a stick?
These are like $5 a stick.
Still fucking pricey.
Well, if you
man.
look right there, it's $29.99 for this 6-pack.
So it's $5.
But again, I used the coupon. Well, they had a sale on these, 50% off. That's why I
So
bought these.
now
so I'm
we're down
paying
to $15. You're talking what?
Couple-
$2.50, $3 a piece.
So I bought 2 packs.
Do they have the same ability as those markers?
That's where the review comes in. Now, The one thing I like about them is they, just like Copic, they're designed so they won't roll off these little grippers and stuff. You put them on a desk. A lot of artists have that angled desk, they won't roll. So that's nice. Now the other thing, the caps are pretty good. Nice cap, good color. But the one thing a lot of pro artists like, and these are in these too. See how that is? That's like a paintbrush.
Yeah.
I like the hard.
You like a fine tip. Yeah,
yes,
very
I
fine
like,
tip.
That's what Prismacolor has.
Yeah.
So that
one
to
end,
me,
one's like a broader end than the other end.
Yeah. So Prismacolor has this end.
Yep, that's that broad. I'm used to that. And you're saying the other end should be that fine point.
Yes, and that's what Prismacolor does. These and Copic don't. And a lot of people, that's their preference. They like it. But when it comes...
Can you replace that end as you discussed in the other one? When you pull out the end, can you do a different tip?
They don't really sell different tips.
Oh, it's just the
It's the
standard
same brush.
AB tips is all you get.
Yeah. There isn't different options. So what happens to me personally, so if you do an 8.5 by 11, which is like, here's an example of the colors, and it's got nice vivid colors. Would you say it's pretty vivid?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, so and I'm
That's
working
the
on
picture you posted on the Fat Guys Little Podcast Instagram.
Yeah, you can catch this on Instagram or Facebook. And I did this one with using...
Did you print this out?
I drew it digitally and then printed it out.
Okay.
I drew it on my Wacom tablet and then printed it.
Okay.
Just because, let me tell you, this is why I went digital. So if I hand drew this, right? So I hand drew it with pencil. I still hand draw it, but I'm on a computer.
And then ink it.
Then I got to ink it.
Yeah.
And then I'm coloring with these markers. So just the markers alone took me 2.5 hours to do this, right?
Okay.
And then the drawing's another hour and a half. So I'm like 5 hours in. Digitally, it's cut in half. I'm doing the whole thing in 2 hours.
So basically, you're just line replacing inside of digitally.
Yeah. So digitally is much easier. Now, the knock I have on these markers is one of them, I opened up, it had extra ink and just dripped. Like
So it's got some quality control issues, is what
yes.
you're trying to tell
me. So that's what Copic, that doesn't happen to you. These did.
But at almost $5 less a marker...
You could deal with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
So
you've got blue gradient, you've got skin tone gradient here that I'm looking at these packs.
Yeah.
Why did you go with those two particular sets? I get the skin tone one all day.
And
why
I was doing
knew what it was going to. Okay.
Yeah, I was doing Captain America, and he's primarily blue. So
yeah, I get you.
Same thing as Superman. I do a lot of Superman. So
yeah.
The only thing I didn't have was reds. I had to get a couple cheap red markers. They didn't have these. All the reds were dark. I like that lighter, and then lighter red, then go with the darker red for the shade. But I mean, if you don't have the money and you get these on sale for $15, they're probably worth it.
I understand that you might get a bum marker.
Yeah. It's this one. You see the ink coming out on the cap?
It's spewing.
I opened it and went
well,
everywhere.
that's the thing. With alcohol, I don't know much about this universe. This is obviously you. To me, if you tell me something is an alcohol, that's a very thin ink. So that probably also leads it to flow really good. But the problem is with it flowing so well, it probably wants to...
Yeah, and Copic, their
deals
tips
with it really good.
Deals it with pretty good. Where the lesser brands, and Dick Blick has their own version of these too that are cheaper.
So these are all... let me ask... these are all called alcohol markers?
Yes.
Is that what is that the universe?
Usually alcohol sketch markers.
Alcohol sketch markers?
Yeah, you'll see... Hobby Lobby has their own brand. Michaels has their own brand. Dick Blick has
Sounds
their
like
own
they all
brand.
got hip to everyone enjoying this particular marker.
And they're giving you cheaper alternatives. Now the cheaper
alternatives... And it sounds like it needs to exist at $7 a marker.
Yeah, it's insane. And there's people online that I follow, artists and stuff, that have hundreds of these. It's like...
I mean, if it's what you do for...
I'm just doing it as a hobby.
Get you all day.
If I'm doing it 40 hours a week drawing...
You got to have $1,000 worth of markers.
You got to put the money in.
I get you completely.
And you got to invest in the wage.
But I got to add... I don't so I get your scenario of I go to a Comic Con and I'm drawing Captain America in front of people and I want to colorize it a little bit and here you go. No one's doing comic books in person anymore. Everyone's doing it on Wacom and digital. Unless you're here to tell me differently.
No, there are a handful of artists. There's a guy in the Philippines named Art Germ. Look him up one day. He does comics and stuff. Really good at women, like Chung Lee and stuff like that. Filipino guy, excellent. But he does.
He puts pen to paper.
He does, and it's really good.
Why though?
There's a handful. Just old school, I guess. They like it.
I don't understand.
But he still does digital as well. So like a lot of his professional work is digital. but he can do the paper. Some people are just that's what they learn. That's what they
for
stick
me,
with.
in my opinion,
It cuts time in half doing that.
That's what I'm trying. If to me, I take $1,000 in markers or $1,000 into digital inputs
Software
on a
and stuff.
computer.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, I would go digital definitely. But I one of my New Year's resolutions besides dressing snazzy, I wanted to get back and do some hard.
I'm not
school.
saying you're wrong if it's a hobby. But I'm saying like you just described. If I got hundreds of $7 markers, like what am I doing here? You know, what
there
I mean?
are some people. I'll give you a list of some of the artists I follow. They love their.
It's different,
and they'll
man.
fight you over those Copics, man.
And what's funny to me, so then they probably take it, colorize it, and then scan it in. It's like, what am I doing?
Yeah, no, I just do it. Now, like I said, with the paintbrush tips, right? So when you're trying to get this little detail up in here, you're trying to jab this. It drove me nuts. I hate that. I much prefer.
I'm sure there's some technique involved in that.
There is,
sure.
and it's personal preference, I believe. But I love the Prismacolor hard, fine point ones so much more than the brush tips.
So at this point,
I can't paint for shit.
But my question is the world moved beyond Prismacolor? Because again, that's where my knowledge kind of ended in that scenario. Going through architecture school like I did right out of high school and doing that kind of stuff, it was all Prismacolor stuff, and obviously the world moved on from that.
I think the world mostly went digital, but if you're gonna go into markers, which you can, it's still Copic, then it's Prismacolor, and then there's Winsor Newton. It's called, and then there's all these store brands and stuff like this down here. But those are the top three. Those. Like even Prismacolor,
the Prismacolors have a better value than all this scenario.
Yeah. The Prismacolor is about $3-4 a marker.
Now, in your opinion, do you feel that these are worth the premium over the Prismacolors?
No, not to me.
Oh, wow.
I like Prismacolors a lot. I always had big sets. Now Prismacolors aren't cheap. A 200 set for that, I looked at that before we came just to compare prices. It's $500.
So, but that's still in this scenario.
It's still cheaper.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
But they're not cheap either. So don't think the Prismacolor like Crayolas.
You're not gonna save them.
Now there are ones I like. It's called Arteza, Arteza. I bought a bunch of. I got them for Christmas. The fine point markers, which I actually used in this when I wanted to get the little detail. Those are pretty good and they're reasonably priced. They got like 120 markers for $100.
I will tell you, as someone who's in skilled trades now, as I've aged. There's something to be said about not cheaping out on your tools. You know what I mean? Like, and that's so to your point, you're kind of trying and feeling and doing. I can respect that. I think you have to say, okay, if I'm going to do this or if this is a hobby of mine or whatever, getting them for a nickel cheaper might not necessarily, you know what I mean? Like sometimes that premium. I usually am not a big proponent of just going out and buying a Sony TV because it's got a Sony label on it. But like in this scenario, you know what I mean? Like
you want the quality.
Yeah.
You don't want the ones that's going to drip on your paper.
Yeah. And also I think much like a golf club is to a golfer, you kind of got to get that one that feels the way you like it too.
See, the difference between me and you is you'll go deep dive in all these different hobbies. I'm just deep diving into one I'm stuck in. And I've been doing
like
this
to bounce.
This is an ongoing thing. Well, Holly, about 5 years ago, was actually in the drawing. So both of us got into markers.
Now she hates everything.
Yeah, now she hates the world. If it's not TikTok, she doesn't give a fuck.
How can this translate?
I need a T-shirt that says that. If it's not TikTok, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. That's what I need to say. But it was really depressing. I thought for sure she was going to get in the drawing. Oh, this is kind of cool. She did art class. She did do. I was like, oh, maybe. So I did. We have a whole bucket of
a 10-year-old version of your kid is completely an 18-year-old version.
Yeah, it is. Dude. It is night and day.
Dude, a lot of life changes in those high school years.
But but I still have the markers from them when we were going into them. Me and her were collecting them. We were getting them, and then she backed out. Like, well, I guess I got these markers. So I have the chameleon markers that I brought on the show before. Those kind of died out. I don't know if they went out of business or what. They disappeared. Those are the ones with the 3 where you could do the thing.
One of the things I will tell you as someone who likes to, again, like you said, dabble in a bunch of different things, there's a lot of talent out there, man. Like if you get in,
YouTube,
oh my God, man, if you can find like you enjoy the colorizing and doing all these. And like you said, the Filipino guy, when they start to put that content up there, man, sometimes you just can't get enough of it. It's just
you learn so much. That's what I like.
You wonder, like, how in the 80s, how anyone knew shit.
Yeah, how did you? There's a guy in Britain I follow on YouTube, and he's a professional colorist. That's all. He doesn't draw. but
he'll take that.
They send him
drawing,
comic pages.
yeah.
So what his channel, all he does is buy coloring books. And he'll take like a shitty Captain America from a coloring book, and it'll look like a piece of art. It's like,
dude, it's amazing. And you probably 45 minutes, 2 hours of your life just gone
oh,
watching this shit.
it's about a half hour is the video.
Clicking a video, clicking into this.
But I always drag it. Let's get a little further.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
that
get
guy's
you.
great. I had to
You
show
get
him to
stuck down. That's why I don't understand how people are bored. I just don't. Like, you rip
That's
on me
my
all the
daughter.
time for like hobbies and stuff like that. The world in 2020 that we live in right now, dude, anything you want to do, it's just
it's a fingertip
hobbies
away.
galore, man.
Yeah,
like
it
whatever.
really is. Well, Holly told that to me Saturday when I came home. I forget where I was. I went to the movies with Michelle. I'm so bored today.
Like, dude,
I'm gonna remember. I bought that fuzzy creature so she can make it. She made it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start randomly buying her crafts and
do this shit.
They got
yeah.
this bead thing where you can make a Batman out of beads. I'm bringing it home, giving it to her.
Dude, I'm telling you, man,
At least
it's
until
a
tennis
great
starts.
time. It's one of
Once
those
tennis
things.
starts,
It's a
she'll be all
great
right.
time to be, and it's a great time for hobbies, and it's just fun, man.
I love
I mean, all the
drawing.
way down to what we do with this every Sunday. It's just it started out a hobby. We do it every week, and it's just fun.
So, yeah, my hobbies are drawing, video games, and models.
We don't have time to list all my hobbies.
Charles gonna list it. We need another podcast. So there you go. If anybody out there needs any I don't do it professionally, but I think I'm okay at it. And you want some tips on drawing, or if your kids are into it, like Michelle's friend Selena, her daughter draws a manga and stuff like that. She'll be like 14, I think. She's got a year before the kid drops it all. But
Yeah.
she asked me like what kind of tablet to get and stuff
Sure.
like that. So if you guys have questions on stuff, I can answer that. And if you have questions on any other hobby on the face of the earth, you can ask Charles, of course. So now, what are you going to tell us about the purple carrot?
Yeah, so Steve for Christmas, as a joke gift to me, got me a delivery service that delivers, similar to HelloFresh, they deliver vegan meals to your doorstep. And the name of this company is called the Purple Carrot. And so basically, you go online. I took Steve's gift card. You go online, and Steve got me a week's worth of meals at Hello Carrot, or what he probably
Purple Carrot.
or Purple Carrot. I'm not HelloFresh Purple Carrot. Yeah. So Steve thought he probably got me a week's worth of meals until I went and logged into this shit and realized it cost $78 for 4 servings of the meals for the week that I bought. So
Wait, what?
Dude, it's crazy expensive. Okay, so let's.
I mean, I paid like $75 for the gift card.
Yeah, so
you still had to pay more on top
I had
of
to
that?
pay $7 on top of the gift
Jesus
card.
Christ.
Dude, it's unbelievable.
And it was supposed to be 7 days.
Dude,
For what, one person?
dude, I'm telling you, it was the craziest thing I've ever. I'm like,
Oh, that's a rip
this whole thing has just been crazy. So again, with these meal services, they love. We've talked about it here on the podcast. Okay, they love to get you wrapped up into a subscription service. They just everything in the planet Earth. They would get you a marker subscription service if they could.
It's called Artsies.
There it is, dude. It's crazy.
You pay $20 a month, they send you random art supplies.
Dude, just anything they can do to just get you subscribing. So I took this on there, and the nice part about it is, so you can basically, so they have 4 meals every week that you can pick from, okay? And then you can say, for that week, I'm a no on all 4. I'm a no on all 4 this week. So this past week was finally a week where we were like, okay, I'm good on this week. We had black bean and Brussels sprout tacos and vegan mac and cheese, pumpkin mac and cheese. Ooh. And we were like, okay, let's try that. That's in our wheelhouse, and we'll do that. So we waited. Again, I had to pay $7 over and above this. I'm like, this is the most unbelievably expensive shit I've ever. So, like, imagine if you're like a family of 4. Like,
going broke.
dude, it's crazy. So I immediately, it showed.
You think they just figure that most vegans are rich white people?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
probably what they're
So
thinking.
one of the things, so this thing showed up Tuesday on the doorstep, packed real well. It ships overnight. One of the reasons, okay, that I find plant-based diets is so good is it's good for the environment. I'm a bit of a green gene, as Steve likes to rip on me all the time about. I'm into it. I think that we only have one planet. I got a little girl who I got to leave this fucking planet to. I try to do my best to take care of my shit and my. So if you come to veganism, it's great for the planet. One of the biggest drags on is red meat production is terrible for the environment.
That being said, we're having hamburgers for dinner tomorrow.
Okay, but that being said, I had to ship overnight the most plastic-ridden box of vegan food to my house.
Oh, really?
Dude, if
Wait,
you
overnight?
Yeah, they overnight it to you. So imagine the carbon
So they
footprint.
send 4 days worth of stuff overnight, or just 1 day?
They sent 4 days worth of stuff packaged on ice blocks to my house.
Oh, Jesus.
And they ship it overnight to you. So imagine the carbon footprint of that. On top of it, everything in this thing. I've never had a HelloFresh before. You got me this, and this is the first time we've done this whole thing. Everything is portioned out and plasticked.
Yeah, ironically, I've had it.
It is so bad for the environment. It is not even beginning to, you know what I mean? So
Randy's son signed up for it, and he got a meal of chicken fajita tacos. He didn't want it. He brought the box and gave it to me. And I took it home. And you're right. Everything was individually packed.
Because
now that you're mentioning it, I remember now.
Everything is.
And they give you a recipe card?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The crazy part about the Purple Carrot service is all of their meals, all the recipes are on their website. So why do I gotta order any of this shit? I can just go on their website and find a vegan meal. Like, what are we doing? And go to the store. I think it's meant for lazy people who don't want to go to, or who aren't comfortable in a store, or who don't want to portion out things, or who just blatantly can't cook. I talk about Maddie Matheson. We can cook in this house. You know what I mean? Like looking at all.
Judging by the size of us.
Yeah, by the size of us, we can throw down.
And
in
our
the
dad
kitchen.
never took us out to eat. We just covered that earlier.
Yeah. So, so the food itself was okay. I've got a portion I set aside for you that I want you to take home. I set aside the Roni cheese and all the stuff for the. There was some highlights and some lowlights to the meal. I think that the service, if it fills a void for you and you're that person who's like, I don't have any meal ideas, I don't know what the internet is or something, I don't know, I get it, but for me, it was a huge miss. I was
So
like,
you only get 1 day? Or is it
well, you get 2 items. Does that make you? I get 4 servings of 2 items. So in theory, I could have done the Roni cheese for 1 day and then done the black bean Brussels sprout taco.
That's good value.
It's a horrible value. And like the portions were okay. I mean, it made like a casserole dish of mac and cheese.
When I bought the gift card, they said it covers 7 days of food.
There's no fucking way. There's no way.
So they lied.
For like one person, I think. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. That's weird.
I don't know. And then, like I said, I still had to fork out some cash over it. Like, this is unbelievable.
And you didn't even get that much.
Yeah. For me, but I think you hit the nail on the head, too. This is intended for rich white people with a lot of guilt and all that kind of stuff. It's not for me. I mean, the plastic for me, it was blown away by like how much plastic.
And as you mentioned HelloFresh, I remember it all came.
Everything is portioned. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like when you come to veganism, it's because, not only is it the health benefits, but for the planet, it's amazing diet for the planet. And this is not the best way to do this at all. So Purple Carrot was a big swing and a miss. I've got portions you could take home with you.
Oh, we'll have to try it. So that's funny. So there you go. You're not helping the environment by skipping the meat.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to rapid fire this week. Now, of course, it's right before the Super Bowl, so there's not a lot on this. So new at the movies this week, Gretel and Hansel.
It's a horror movie.
It's a horror movie, wicked fairy tale thing. Yeah, no. Who's watching this?
I knew of it, but I'm a no. It's a horror movie. No.
Oh, this next one you think is about music. It's not. It's Blake Lively. She's like a spy of some sort. It's called The Rhythm Section. The name doesn't match the description of the movie whatsoever. It was supposed to come out over the summer. Got postponed till now. I think it's another super spy chick movie. It's getting terrible reviews. I'm a no. No thanks.
I'll wait for the Drumline sequel. I'm a no. No, thank you.
And that's pretty much all at theaters because no one wants to compete with the Super Bowl this week. So Bad Boys might be number 1 again next week.
Yeah.
Blu-ray this week, of course, Terminator Dark Fate. Charles, are you going to be in? I already saw it at theater, so I don't probably need to rent. I might rent it, but I won't rush it.
I'll definitely rent this. All these movies on Blu-ray I'm interested in.
Yes. Now, this next one I do want to see is this Harriet. This is the story based on Harriet Tubman.
It's got some award show buzz to it. Yeah.
So I'm a big yes on this one.
A big yes again for me. So this is 2 for 2 for Blu-ray for this week.
Now, Motherless Brooklyn, this is Ed Norton, written and directed based on a book, I guess, but he moved the timeline. So in the book, it was current day.
It went back to like the 30s.
Yeah, so This is like old school gangster type thing. It looks interesting. Alec Baldwin, I think, is in it. Yeah. So I will see this. This is Motherless Brooklyn. I'm a yes.
I'm a yes on this as well. So 3 for 3. Big Blu-ray release. You got to take my butt to Family Video.
Yeah, and then the last one is this weird Korean movie that's getting a lot of Oscar buzz. But I did the foreign movie last year with Roma. I'm not doing it this year. Parasite is coming out on Blu-ray. This is nominated for quite a bit of things. I'm a big no on this one.
I'm a yes again. 4 for 4 for Blu-rays.
You could take the bullet on this one. I sat through Roma last year. All right, so now in streaming, people love this show. I don't know. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, I think is the Teenage Witch. It's got a dark theme. It's not happy like the network show was. This is part 3, so assume season 3. I'm a big no on that.
I'm a no, but Heather's a huge yes. Heather loves the show, yes. And there's no Caroline Ray in it. There's no Melissa Joan Hart. It's some weird version of Sabrina.
It's very dark, from what I understand, too.
It's like the weird thing that they did with Teen Wolf.
And this is the final season of this. I've always seen the animated pictures of this. I've never watched it. BoJack Horseman.
It's a dude in a suit with a
it's a cartoon. It has a cult following. Part 6, season 6, part B. I think it's the final season. I haven't watched any season because none of it looks like it makes sense to me, so I'm a no.
To your point, rabid fan base for it.
Yeah,
I'm a no though. I haven't. No.
It's up there with Rick and Morty. Like a lot of people love this.
I tried Rick and Morty, and hell no.
I made it through 3 or 4 seasons, and I was like, I'm done. I can't do it. See that again. So there you go. Not a lot because of the Super Bowl. So what's happening when people punch each other in the face?
Yeah. So, and I talked about this kind of last week. So UFC had a good fight night on Saturday. So it was from PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. This Michael Chiesa guy beat up on Rafael Dos Anjos. This is one of the guys that they want to have come back and actually be kind of substantial in the lightweight division. He just can't do it. He keeps losing. He lost again in a decision. Kind of got controlled on the ground, so it's kind of good. The other one is Curtis Razor Blades KO's Junior Dos Santos. So you would kind of like Curtis Blades. He's a big-time wrestler. He double-leg takedown people all the time. He holds the UFC record for most takedowns in 45. But he actually KO'd the friggin' Junior Dos Santos, caught him on the head, and just dropped him. It was kind of good. It was an actual pretty good, again, the ESPN Plus fight card. I was totally entertained by that.
You watch that a lot.
Yeah, I love it, dude. It's worth it. And then at the end of February is when I'm going to transition over. I'm going to get the Hulu and all that as we discussed. So. And then also not this weekend coming up because, again, everything's going to go quiet for the Super Bowl weekend. Anyone who's smart anyway does it, So UFC's quiet, but then UFC 247 is the following weekend. John Jones is going to fight Dominic Reyes, and then Valentino Shevchenko is going to fight Caitlin Chukagian. Those are both pretty good fights. Not worth my $65. I'll tell you. $65 for that. But that's the following weekend, and then the big thing that came out this week.
I saw this.
Yeah. So Stephen A. Smith got a huge contract with ESPN, and they took Stephen A. Smith and they took him and put him on the ESPN broadcast before the Donald Cerrone Conor McGregor fight alongside Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan's looking at him like he's a crazy person the whole time he's talking. So then they go to him after the fight. And Stephen A. Smith essentially says that we don't know how Conor McGregor is going to be because Donald Cerrone essentially quit. Now, I've talked at length on this show about like the lineage of Donald Cerrone and how he is like the most fights and all. To call that guy, he's not Ronda Rousey. Like, this guy is not a guy that you question his heart. But the thing is, so Joe Rogan came out this past week and kind of lambasted Stephen A. Smith, which I thought was compelling to watch because you figured Joe Rogan would have towed a company line a little bit. Mm-hmm. He was like, this is bad for ESPN, and, he just kind of went off. The one thing I'll tell you, if you know who Stephen A. Smith is, he likes to stir shit up.
Yeah.
I'm
does it on purpose.
And I'm going to say to this, no sport should be immune to criticism. Joe Rogan makes it seem like you can't criticize Donald Cerrone, and I think that's wrong.
Right. I'm
not here to sit here and tell you that, when you lose in MMA, you break bones and you get hurt. So to criticize him is tough. But if you're going to allow Stephen A. Smith to rip on Jason Garrett, who doesn't get to see his kids grow up, who is, you know what I mean? Like, has to be an NFL coach who is sacrificing his personal life to succeed in the NFL. And he's okay to do that. Joe Rogan will let Stephen A. Smith go off on Jason Garrett, but you can't go off on Donald Cerrone because he can actually get physically hurt. I think that's a little off base, is all I'm going to say. So if you're going to allow, so to me, Joe Rogan should not allow Stephen A. Smith to comment about any of professional athletes, is kind of my take, because there's sacrifices to be made no matter what your sport is.
Right.
The other thing, too, Conor McGregor came out against him and told him he needed to apologize. And to Stephen A. Smith's credit, he came back and he said on social media, like, Joe Rogan, you're wrong on this one. I was like, he stood his ground. I was like, he was impressed. I literally was impressed.
Some people think he's angling to get on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh, he'll be on there for sure. But the problem is Joe Rogan will tear him a new one. There's no Stephen A. Smith can be good on his little bullshit with like opposite Skip Bayless and now Max Kellerman.
I think there's only one solution. Stephen A. Smith needs to fight someone.
If he fights Joe Rogan, he'll get destroyed. No, he doesn't think you understand.
No, Donald Cerrone. He needs to fight.
Oh my God, Donald Cerrone. All I'm saying is, I think that I get where Joe Rogan's coming from, and if you watch Joe Rogan's interviews, he doesn't like to talk down about people. Fighting is a hard sport, but I'm going to make the argument that like a lot of sports, there's sacrifices made everywhere, and you need to respect all sports. Then.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith is kind of a miracle. He's made basically millions of dollars on just being a
loudmouth, man.
Yeah, and controversial. That's all.
But
that's
you gotta admit, let me tell you,
playing into his world when you acknowledge all this.
But here, let me tell you this though too. It is the reason why Stephen A. Smith is successful is because he has an opinion. The problem with sportscasters, ESPN, and all this kind of, they're paid to not have an opinion. So, like, you watch, like, this, and it's just kind of boring. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice to see someone go, well, why doesn't Jerry Jones shit can Jason Garrett? Like, what are we doing? Like, what do you... It's finally nice, instead of just someone going, oh, well, looks like Jerry Jones is going to bring back Jason Garrett for 2020. It's like, okay. Like, no one's saying...
No, he didn't bring back Jason Garrett, right?
I know, I'm just talking, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying... Stephen A. Smith has railed against the Cowboys. Like, oh, my God, like, tournament... And Joe Rogan didn't mention anything about that. And here's professional athletes and coaches that are sacrificing personal life, but he doesn't care about that. But because Donald Cerrone took a shoulder to the eye and broke a bone, which is crazy, but don't say nothing bad about him. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of my whole take. But
well, I guess in the end, Joe Rogan can't defend other sports because he doesn't know it.
Well, and that was a big part of his thing. He's like, look, man, I don't talk about cricket because I don't know fucking cricket. Yeah. In other words, he's saying ESPN has Michael Bisping on the roster and Cormier on the roster. So why do you have Stephen A. Smith come out here and talk? Is what he's trying to say. He goes, it makes ESPN look bad by bringing this idiot out who doesn't know the sport. But
he knows basketball.
You pay him $9-10 million a year, and people like me and you, I like Stephen A. Smith. I like the fact he has an opinion. You like Mike Valenti just like I do because he has an opinion. Yeah. You don't want to hear the same thing over and over again, and that's kind of
what happens in sports.
Yeah.
So there you go. Stephen A. Smith's going to fight Conor McGregor the next pay-per-view.
Just wait till the next time. If someone's going to swell up on him. Those fighters are crazy.
He's been doing it for years.
Someone brought this up. What if he said this kind of shit about a Diaz brother?
Oh, yeah, they are nuts.
They're going to fight Stephen A. Smith. They throw freaking... Oh, crazy. Dude. I'm just saying.
So let's go to the news. Now, back when you first cord cutting, the one I did like far as the TV apps was the Sony View. I did like,
and you were in a majority with a lot of this. A lot of people like Sony View.
And, well, it doesn't
or
matter.
PlayStation View.
PlayStation View, sorry. January 30th, it's closing down. There is no more PlayStation View. And now they'll make available YouTube TV on their PS4. I guess it wasn't available before because they wanted people to do the PlayStation View.
Do you think? What do you think this is? You don't think there's a lot of money to be made in cord cutting arena? What is your opinion on why they're out?
I don't think the profits were big enough for them. I think you got to pay all those licensings for all those channels. Like
it's a lot of tracking, and that's what they're always bickering about.
You can't offer it. the package at a low price when you got to pay for all these licensing, which you see with AT&T when they lost CBS and the pissing match that happened there. So I think that's what happened. And then they said, well, you know what? We don't want to deal with it.
We're a video game.
We'll offer them YouTube TV instead. Yeah. So if you're a fan of PlayStation View and their TV lineup, well, you're not anymore because they're done. Which I think you'll probably see some more eventually folding as well. I don't think they're going to be the only ones.
Who do you think's the next one's out?
Who gets Sling?
Sling is Dish Network, though.
Oh, is it part of Dish Network?
It's Dish Network. That's the only reason why I say I don't know of any. YouTube TV's Google. What is it? Who owns Hulu? Like the parent company of Hulu is obviously like Disney. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, you got to have these major companies
behind you.
Yeah.
And Sony just isn't. They like to think they are, but they're not as big as those. No. So now Apple TV, they're coming out with another series, and this is I thought was up Charles's alley.
Yeah.
The creator of Bob's Burgers, but it's going to be a musical animated series for a half hour. Not a big fan of musicals.
This whole Apple TV thing is just not for me.
I don't know anybody that has it. No one's singing. The only people singing the praises of Apple TV are the people that keep nominating that Jennifer Aniston.
They're obsessed with Jennifer Aniston in the morning show over and over again.
I don't know anyone that's
I love Steve Carell.
Yeah, and they say he might not be back for season 2 of that because they won't sign a contract for him. So I don't know. So there you go, Bob's Burger. If you're a lover of him and the musical parts of Bob Burger, which I'm not a fan of. I don't want to see that.
If you think that the musical parts of Bob Burger is the best part, you're way off base.
Yeah. So.
It's those 3 gems of kids plus all the other random characters.
So now news came out this week from Netflix that Witcher is the biggest season 1 debut of any series they've ever had.
So
according to this article,
I feel Netflix wants Witcher to be a banger. They actually changed off of as I was doing my show notes with yours, they changed the way that they aggregate like what shows are doing really well based on Google Trends. Did you read the article?
No, I did not read that.
Yeah, so to me, they want this show to be out in front of people so bad. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Like they just need people to love The Witcher. Like if you don't like, why don't you love The Witcher? Like this is an amazing show. We've got Henry Cavill over here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I agree. And it's an okay show. It's just not. It's not the Game of Thrones. I'm sorry. I know that's what they want. They want it to be The Boys from Amazon. Yeah. It's just not. They got a lot of work for season 2. Yeah. So. And ironically, more people saw that than The Mandalorian. That's just because 160 million people subscribe to Netflix when only 10, 20 million people subscribe to Disney+. But I would argue that more people enjoyed The Mandalorian than The Witcher, and they're going to sell 10 times more merchandise from The Mandalorian than they would The Witcher as well.
I still got my pre-order for my baby Yoda.
Corey, what idiot sitting across from me.
That, and I also watched the Jeff Goldblum show this past week.
What's a funny one?
He did jewelry.
Oh, I got to catch up on that one. It's one of those ones where I don't catch up, then I watch 4 or 5 episodes all at once. I went over and set up a Roku for my in-laws, and I set up a Netflix.
That must have been so fun.
I'll tell you a story. I think that was pretty funny. But I put Netflix on there for them, and when you go in, it shows popular or whatever. You know the one show that's not showing up on there because I was kind of going over stuff and telling them what they might not like. My father loves fantasy and sci-fi, so I said the Witcher shows up right there. My Name is Dolomite kind of disappeared off the list.
Oh, did it? Yeah.
I had to search for it to get it to come up. It was hard to find. I was
do
you think they would promote that?
That trending algorithm for Netflix is tough because you'll see you're like, where's this at? Like I don't feel like
Irishman and Witcher came up right away. And I'm like, I know Dolomite's on here. I had to use the search to find it. It was weird.
Figure they would front and center that.
Yeah. You think that'd be one of the ones.
One of the biggest ones I like to look at is there's a trending line. And the trending line tends to have the shows that people are talking about.
I always go to the Netflix originals. And then,
okay.
Because I don't want to see any of the crap. I've already seen it pretty much. So
I always look. Yeah, frankly, that's most of them anyway.
Yeah, I always go to the original section on Netflix. Now, this next one not going to be exciting for Charles, but boy, the inner Steve nerd is going crazy. Henry Ford Museum, which we live close by, it's right there. This March is getting a giant Marvel exhibit.
Marvel Universe, Marvel movies, Marvel everything.
So they're going to have movie props, and they're also going to have original art from the comics and the history of the comics and stuff. Now, the only bummer about this is if you're not a member of the Henry Ford
how much
Museum,
is this gonna cost?
$35 a ticket.
Yeah.
That's a little steep, but I'll still go. Now, my father-in-law does get a membership once a year, so
So you hit him up. To buy them
so if he
tickets?
gets that, I'll talk to him, and me and him. Unfortunately, I'll have to take him with me, but he's fine. He just walks around his own thing. But I'm really excited for this one. I did go to the Pixar one they had. That wasn't bad.
Heather went to a Lego one they had recently.
Yeah, actually, they had not the recent Lego one, but one before when Holly was Lorna's age.
Yeah.
He took her
When
to
she
see
liked
Lego.
things.
Yeah, back when Holly liked things, doesn't hate the world. She got rid of half her pops too. Like all her shelves are empty. Where's your pops? Put them in a bathroom in the closet. She don't even like pops. She literally hates the world. I swear to God. If it's not TikTok, she does not care. And then finally, this is kind of funny. Over the weekend, I just started getting shitloads of spam last week.
You joke? I didn't know anything about this until I saw the show notes. I was like, what? I thought that I had screwed up because you know how you got to check things for spam and then flip it over there. Yeah. I thought somehow I recovered.
So you got a bunch of spam too?
Dude, I thought I recovered my spam accidentally. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I thought. I'm like, what the? So I had to keep going back and checking 30, 40 things and then making sure I didn't have anything good in there. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
Come to find out, Microsoft's database of emails got exposed. And obviously our emails were on there.
Because
we got spammed like crazy.
I thought I screwed up until I saw your note. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah, so I went through, I was getting them, like I get 10, delete them. And then, because my watch, I had my watch on
prompts,
Yeah, I'm like, why am I getting spammed on my watch? And Michelle's like, what's wrong
like
with
it's
you?
attacking me in
I
real
was
life.
going bananas. But then it died at about Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, I was going to say, it just fell right off.
So,
but then in my head, I was like, okay, I cleared the ones that I must have moved back over. In my head, that's what I thought I did.
Yeah, no, these assholes in Microsoft's database got exposed.
My God. I was so glad you explained it because I was like, God, how did I screw that up?
Yeah, so I'm glad it wasn't just me. Because I have what do you have, Hotmail?
I have Hotmail.
I got an Outlook email, and it was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
That was so crazy. So, yeah, so you're not crazy. Microsoft had some bad security. Now, finally, I'm going to end with a rant. I know we're running a little long, but just because of Silent Bob Reboot, and I started thinking about sequels, right? Now, the one thing I'll give The Matrix, their sequels were different.
Yeah.
They didn't. I don't understand why, and this happened recently. A lot of sequels just take the same goddamn storyline from the first one and repeat it. Don't they understand that we want to see the same characters?
Here's the problem.
In a new adventure.
Yeah, but
okay.
Sometimes if you don't give fan service to the people, they get pissed. So it's like the cake and eat it too kind of thing. Does that make sense? Like you see that especially in Star Wars stuff where it's like, well, I need 3PO and R2D2. Like, do you really? Like,
yeah, but that's the characters. I'm talking about the overall plot and story.
Oh, you're saying just the rinse and repeat.
Even The Force Awakens, though, here comes another Death Star. Hangover is a great example where it's the same movie.
Brutal, yeah.
And even, I know we all love them, but the National Lampoons were kind of the same movie over and over again. What's another? Silent Bob just recently. Yeah. So take the characters that we all love, all right, fine, and just give them something new to do. That's why Empire Strikes Back was so good. It was different. You know, the bad guys won at the end. They weren't doing the same thing. What's another great sequel? You don't watch it, but The Winter Soldier. So you got Captain America, and then The Winter Soldier was like a spy thriller, which was different from the first one. And then the third one was Civil War, where they fought other. So they did something different every sequel, but with the same characters. That's what I want in a sequel. And it just annoys me when it's the same. Like, they come out with Joker 2, and it's just him going crazy again. I'm like, God damn it. Yeah, I just hate that. And that's my gripe about sequels today. Or I guess you can call them reboots or whatever you want to call them.
I don't have a rant. I have more of a question. No. So we were all discussing this as I was watching 1,000 Pound Sisters.
Sodies? Okay. Gotta get my sodies.
Yeah. So I have a question about lazy eyes. So if you have a lazy eye, do you see more of the world? Or does that eye, like...
Yeah, like if you're looking over here, do you still only see what's in front of you?
Or do you get, like, more panoramic, is what I'm trying to say.
You're saying, like, fly vision.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Vision,
like, so if, in other words, if my right eye trailed off, do you think I get, like, more peripheries?
So you're saying you're seeing all this...
Plus whatever you got to trail.
Over all the way far to the right.
Yeah, like, does that how that works?
I don't know, because I don't know anybody with a lazy eye.
And I wish I'd had this conversation before you went to your eye doctor this week, because you could have asked, but so I'm just wondering, do you get like that much more degrees of view? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
It's a good point. I never thought about that.
Do they weave together, or do you have like a blank out spot? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think the one straight eye overcompensates, so you're gonna still see everything. I think this eye is over here, but it's not seeing everything to the right. I think you're still just seeing everything in this normal spectrum. I'm guessing. I don't know.
I'm asking because, like, to me, my cone of vision, Metal Gear Solid style, is like here to here. But now, because my eye's lazy, I'm to here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So, but think of the term lazy eye. So maybe it's not actually seeing extra. It's just over here, just chilling, just because it's lazy.
well, that's what that was Heather's stance. Heather said, "Well, the eye usually doesn't perform as it should, so more than likely you won't get the full
Well,
picture."
the 1,000-pound sister, that one with the lazy eye, said she's clinically blind. She can't even drive.
I just was using that as an example, though.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering because as we were watching the show, I'm like sitting there, like kind of getting jealous. Like she's got extra peripheries that I don't have. Like she's
She can
able.
see sodies from all the way
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm
you see
just
the pool
curious.
episode?
What's that?
The pool episode.
Dude, I saw all of them. Gotta stop.
Oh,
with
you're
that
like
kind of
Michelle.
shit.
You're stuck on them now.
Dude, I gotta stop.
Oh, every time I walk in the living room, she's watching one of them.
Goddamn
I go, how many of
Michelle.
these you got recorded? She goes, look at that.
I was at least watching them in high def. She was watching them in standard def. I
No,
know.
she recorded those. My wife's funny. If she thinks it's a show I may watch with her, she'll record it in high def.
Oh, okay. Because she
So-
knows you'll walk in and immediately be pissed. Like, what is this in standard def?
So Lego Brickmasters is coming out next month.
Yeah, I set that up.
And I told her, I go, if you record it in Poo Vision, I'm not watching. She goes, I'll get high def.
She's got to like make a point. Like,
And she'll go rearrange all her
well,
recordings.
why? So you still are restricted for how many HD streams you have at one time? Yeah, is that what it is?
2. You can record 2 HD streams or force the Poo Vision streams.
Yeah, so she's into Poo Visions.
And the problem is she records almost everything on the Food Network.
But the funny part is about the Food Network, though, as
Every
someone who
fucking
prunes and
baking
adjusts.
show.
But like the Food Network, right? They replay their 8 to 10 o'clock shows.
Around the 1 in the morning.
Yeah,
or
so
that.
you just kick the priority to
That's-
the later ones.
She'll start doing that if it's something I want to watch in high def. She'll get in there and I
She
call
gotta
it the
move some stuff
I call
around.
it the Michelle Shuffle. She'll be in there. It's like watching a person work a database.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's like
I gotta move
Minority
this-
Report. She's in there like swinging
it's
windows.
It's like an NFL board draft,
Yeah.
draft board. She's like, "Let me take this show in the first round."
Okay.
So she records Superstore in high def.
Yeah.
She records the Goldbergs in high
Did you watch Superstar this past week?
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, okay.
The Goldbergs coming back? What's the
Goldbergs were back. Goldbergs was new
Well,
this past
well,
week.
She probably hasn't recorded.
Oh.
The problem with the Goldbergs and Superstore is we want to get our pissy daughter who hates everything. She still will watch those,
Oh.
but it's got to be a day she's not going to see hockey because
Oh, she's still in the hockey trip?
2 days straight going to hockey, Saturday and Friday
She's
night.
totally into a boy.
I had to get out. I had to go out at 9:30 in the rain to go get these chumps in the hockey.
Wow.
I was like, God damn it! But-
Her and that hockey shit.
oh man, those 3 girls are going to that. One of those 3. I don't know if it's Holly. I don't know if it's Fatima. I don't know if it's Bree. Sorry, girls, but one of you 3 likes one of those
Yeah.
boys because I ask her. So what happens if you have a hockey player and he skates past the blue line before the guy with the puck does? What is that called? I don't know, but I know they blow the whistle. It's offside.
wow.
What happens if a guy scores 3 goals? What's that called? I don't know. Are you even watching? You're just watching Alex the Hunk over
Dude,
there.
I mean, it stinks so bad in those arenas, too. Oh. Where does she go to that disc place in Dearborn? Where do they play at?
they play in Allen Park, right there right behind the Culvers. There's a big hockey arena.
Oh, okay.
there.
Okay.
Right there on Southfield. And
Yeah,
Sumner.
yeah, but disc is the Dearborn ice hockey rink.
They're
there?
never there.
Oh.
They've been there, and then they've been the Taylor one. They have a
Sportsplex. They
yeah.
got a hockey rink in there.
That's all they have. They have soccer fields and hockey.
Oh, okay.
That's all it's in there. There's nothing else. So yeah. So my daughter still won't admit which one likes who, but there's got to be at this point.
So, but she's will watch Goldbergs and Superstore is one of the few things that she still finds joy of in this
yeah,
world.
yeah. So but we have to make sure it's not a day she's seeing hockey or something. So schedule.
So you're pushing these shows,
Yeah,
just
yeah, so
trying
we'll
to
probably, like-
find a nugget that you can get along with your
So probably
daughter.
like Tuesday night we'll catch up on last week's shows of all
Oh
this
my
week.
god!
And then she loves that foot one.
Yeah.
But but like I don't blame her on this one. She just wants to get to the operation part.
Yeah.
So, why she likes the foot one? She records the gross shit and sends it to her friends on her phone while she's watching.
So you literally got someone like videotaping the screen
Yes,
while you're in there?
she'll sit there on the one chair, you know, that
that's so
Daisy's
weird.
She goes, "Oh, Fatima, check this out," and me and Hob and Michelle are sitting there watching it with
So
her.
you're basically, oh my God. She's FaceTiming
Yes.
someone the whole time?
And then you hear her friends on the phone. "Oh, it's a girl."
That's so annoying. I hate
Look
your
into
daughter.
your future.
She's going to be here all weekend in
And Misty,
February. I can't deal with
She'll
her.
act different here.
Oh, will she?
She feels obligated.
She'll have her own. She'll be back here on the futon. She can watch whatever she wants to.
She don't care about these. She's got her walking screen.
Oh,
you just
sorry.
make sure your Wi-Fi is working.
Oh, I'm
you cut your Wi-Fi, she's got screen. That's all. She don't give a shit about these two big screens.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Why would you want to watch it on a screen?
I told her I took the TV out of her room. She didn't want it anymore. I was like, "Well, I can get rid of it if you don't want it." She goes, "Yeah, get rid of it."
So
You imagine that at 15 if they took TV out of our rooms, how much video games I played? I've been
Dude.
so upset.
It's crazy. Did you play that World War II game you bought yet?
Yes.
Where's the? I haven't heard a review.
Oh, I should have reviewed it this. I'll review it next week. It's not bad. It's not the greatest, but it's not bad.
Oh,
It,
that's a glowing review.
you get all your troops, and you don't have to build any forts or anything. You get a set amount of troops, and you just move around. Really, you're just highlighting a blob of troops, moving it to here. Wait until they destroy everything, move it to here. It's kind of like World of Warcraft once you built up so far, and you just kind of move your army around. Now, some of it gets a little tricky because you got to move supply trucks and stuff like that. I only did about 5 missions as the Germans. It just, I think it's kind of boring. And I can play Mortal Kombat and be Arnold Schwarzenegger and punch people in the face, or I can watch little blobbies go around. And you can't zoom in. There's no zoom in.
Oh, you can't get like down level.
And the control's a little weird with a controller instead of a mouse, but it's not bad. It's if you have an itch.
It is what it is, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not terrible, but not great. All right, anyways, we're just having random conversations now. So of course, next week, Saturday night, we're gonna have BV here. We're gonna try some masapan or whatever the hell it is. We're gonna talk about some football, the Royal Rumble, and whatever else comes up this week. And of course, you can check us out on Google Play, Apple iTunes, or Spotify,
or Steve's Instagram.
You can check out my my drawings on Instagram, or models I put up every once in a while. If Charles wants to, he can put up his guitar lessons.
You could join Tubby's and follow us on Instagram.
That's right. Tubby's is
Tubby's Sub Shop.
That came up the other day. Like, Tubby's follows us.
Yeah,
Yes.
man.
We made it big when Tubby's follows you.
Yeah.
So some 15-year-old that's running their social media started following us.
Oh yeah.
So until next week, this is Steve.
And Charles.
Check you later.